Okay, and we're also recording. Coolio, daddy-o. That is really quite fly, as the kids say. This might also be a recording exclusive here, and I'm hoping that this disk space lasts the entirety of the recording. This is gonna be quite the feat. Oh, and we're live! Tabby. We're actually about a minute ahead of where I said we'd be, so that's pretty good. Apparently we've already got 10 concurrent viewers for the Stream Repository podcast. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the memorific meme show with the meme-tastic memes on the stream with the Stream Repository. How do you all do? I tip my hat to you, my lady, and all of that. Let's see, going to live chat. Hello, big brain meme. Hello. So funny story. So I was coordinating with Odd Mimic, who was the original creator of my original avatar, because, you know, I figured he should have the honor of designing the headless meme. And I went in and did my own little tweaks and stuff myself, because I'm a very tactile sort of person. I like to go in and do my own things with my things, because you know, I'm very picky, very hard to please. Coffee's good. Coffee's very good. Helmetless meme is not real. Helmetless meme can't hurt you. Thing about the top of my head is I went in and did some additional adjustments with the top of the head, and it ended up looking like a little piggy bank. So it looks like you could just slot in a little quarter at the top of my head, and that was an accident. Still gotta tweak that a little bit more. That, or it looks like it's a very large urethra. One of the two. Blinking meme is odd. Yeah, the blinks are something I'm experimenting with. I'm trying to just make it look a little bit more alive, a little bit less dead. You'll also notice that my avatar is breathing, which is something else that was really important for me. And, you know, initially the breathing animation was very like it looks like he was just out of breath. And I was just like, that's way too much breathing. So I dialed back the breathing a little bit, so now it's just this little subtle thing that you barely notice unless I point it out. I've got the raindrops going outside, I've got the fire going, I've got the lantern swaying. I just wanted to make this is still not the final art, but I just wanted it to be a little bit more engaging. Whenever people do super chats, they have to insert the coins into Meme's head. True. The hot cocoa is steaming. Yes, it is. That's something I actually already had set up in the file, but I just I didn't have anything else set up, so I just went with the still image to begin with. The flickering, so the fire was a little bit of work because there are multiple layers to that fire. I couldn't just plop a single fire asset onto it. I needed to do multiples of that one. But also, the more complicated part of that is the the fact that the light around the fire flickers. That's a completely separate effect that I had to work out. I had to do a few passes of that just to make sure that it looked okay, because I didn't want it to be I didn't want it to just be this fire that wasn't having any effect on the background. Now, I'm not the best animator in the world, but I do know a thing or two about VFX, so I was able to kind of get it to work. And that's my morning coffee done for the day. The cup will now just be a steaming prop. So so a lot of my weekend was just spent putting this together, because I really wanted to hit the ground running with with this. Blank face. I'm glad you mentioned not being great at creating art but being good at coloring in art, because I am really good at. I am kind of the same. I can't draw something from whole cloth at the moment. I'd like to change that eventually. I would love drawing to be one of the skills to the belt, because that would just make my life a lot easier. Even with this AI art stuff coming out, I would prefer to be able to just draw something, feed that into the AI for some variation, rather than just having the AI do the entire thing, because it's not at the point where I feel comfortable having it be the whole thing. Not because I'm against it morally, but just because it's so imprecise. So eventually I'll release the VOD for that, the standalone clips for the AI discussions that we had, because I think that's very worthwhile. Just looking at the, oh man, I am tight. I was doing so much like stretching and It's ironic. I was doing so much limbering up yesterday that I am so tight today, and I didn't have time to stretch properly, so I might be doing that throughout the stream. But what I do need to do is to put this on Twitter just to tell people that I'm live, because, the original post about this back last night might be a little bit buried. So what I gotta do is I gotta go into, good old view on YouTube. I gotta go into the Twitter machine. I gotta put the URL into the Twitter machine, and then I can go new live with new art. There we go. I almost put a 1 instead of a explanation point. So I guess we can catch up with news. Well, first things first, before we launch into just some improvised content, because there's been some news this morning that I think is kind of funny. So firstly, for any new viewers, I don't think there are many new viewers viewing, but for those, few new viewers that may or may not be here, maybe someone is new watching the VOD, who knows? So the Stream Repository is a variety show. We can discuss, where there are no rules here. We can discuss anything at any time. We can do anything. It is basically just whatever I want to do. It is my own little space. So sometimes we're going to cover a topic and it's going to be ultra well researched and I'm going to have all the references and everything. And sometimes it's just going to be an exploration of a subject in general, without very many things in the way. And that's okay. That's okay. It's whatever I need it to be. It's a place to make mistakes. It's a place to generally just chill out and just have a good time, no matter what. So that is the format we're going for. There might be occasional guests, but they're not a frequent thing. And viewer engagement is like on and off. It's actually been a lot more than I expected it to be for this podcast. I expected it to be a lot more just stick with the notes sort of thing. But viewer engagement is kind of like something I try to slot into very specific segments of the show, just so I can get my points across. Without constantly being derailed. Not that I don't love your messages. It's more just I need to say what I'm going to say, and then I can respond to what you guys said. And that's kind of the best way to do it a lot of the time. So what's our first subject? Well, our first subject isn't actually in my notes. It's just something that came up this morning. Which bless you, world, for helping me to have more content for the stream. Especially when I'm coming up a bit short this week on stuff I wanted to do. I had a lot more planned this week, but you might notice a part 1 in the demonetization special thing, and that is because, quite simply, I ran out of time. I thought that I had more notes pre-prepared than I initially did, because there were, I'll put it this way, there were a couple of things that we're going to cover next week that I thought I had already written out a lot of notes for, because I thought maybe I'd turn them into videos at some point. And then I went into the documents for them, and all I had were the links to the things. So I need to actually go back and oh my goodness, I'm so congested right now. Oh my goodness, snorty noises. So I need to now go back and just write up a bunch of stuff, because the two things that we're going to cover next week, which are kind of alluded to in the description a little bit. They need a little bit more time to marinate, because I don't want to just rush into them. So I figure quality over quantity. We're going to have many more episodes of the Stream Repository. There is no reason to rush this show. This show is all about just... this show is a chill environment. So, and that means chill for you guys, chill for me. So that means, I'm putting a lot of work into the show right now, but the way I'm trying to set it up, and there's probably a bit of irony here, is that I'm trying to set it up so the show can be great with very little work at all. So that we can just come on every week, have a good time, very minimal prep. Which means in these early weeks, I'm having to do a lot of prep, a lot of thinking, just a lot of settling into the format. Because, my instinct is usually I need to put in 110% all the time, every day, all day. And I think that's a great instinct. But that's not what this show is meant to be. It's meant to be it's supposed to just be something that allows a lot of things to be done in a very casual sort of way. This is kind of like a little casual thing. So right now I'm just training myself to be a bit more casual with this, and I'm getting better with it, because maybe a little bit too good in certain ways, because I didn't actually get around to writing the notes for this until late last night, because I just procrastinated the hell out of it. But at the same time, I'm also putting a lot of effort into the VODs and the clips, and most of my time over the last week or so has been spent putting this animation together, because I've just been trying to get it right, and I'm probably going to continue to tweak this background until we have a placeholder here that I'm happy with, until the final art comes in. Yeah, it's an ongoing thing, and I'm very happy with how things have been going. I've been very happy with the feedback that has been going on, and I'm very happy that this has been resonating with people. I've been getting a lot of I've been getting some lovely comments on the VOD for the first ADHD discussion. I really appreciated those. I really appreciate just a lot of the lovely feedback that I've been getting in general. It tells me that I'm on the right path, that there is an appeal to this show, to this format. And now that we have oh, hey, hello, Simon. How do you do? Oh, and I am so rude. I haven't been saying hello to chat. Maniacal foreigner, no pants baby, fucking kunt, good old member there. But of course, all of you are members. I should start calling you members, shouldn't I? All my members. I don't actually have a tier called member because I didn't think of it at the time, but it does fit. You know, I love you all. Makoshi, Maglathon, all the people, all the time, in all the ways that are all the excitements. Memberberries, yes, yep. Bilbo, you know, familiar and new faces alike. Maybe there aren't any new faces here. Maybe it's just sometimes, you know, some people, you know, they stick out in your brain because maybe they're around slightly more than others, and then when someone crosses a certain threshold, right, they become more of a standout in your brain, and then you notice them for the first time. It's like, it's weird how perception works. You know, it's something it's one of my many interests. Wow, the ADHD guy just jumps from a huge interest to huge interest. I know we're shocked. You cannot escape me. I know, and I wouldn't want to escape for the world. So first thing is not actually anything in my notes. So James Gunn was announced for to be the CEO of DC Studios, which is going to be, I think, you know, their equivalent of Marvel Studios, which, you know, not a bad choice by any means. Like, his input was valuable for the MCU. No doubt it's going to be valuable for the DCEU. My main contention with that news is nothing to do with James Gunn himself. It's more, I'm scared of how, so we have this issue, right, where the DCEU was kind of shot in both kneecaps with the first film, and then brutally executed with the second film. Like, this was not a Phase 1 Marvel sort of deal where you started with Iron Man, which, you know, kind of falls apart a little bit in the third act, but the characters are solid. It provides a nice, mostly even foundation for things to build upon. You got the Incredible Hulk, again, you know, not the perfect film, but, you know, nothing like horrendously broken about it. Thor, you know, there are things to, you know, there's not a whole lot to write home about, but there's a lot of good stuff in it. It gave us Loki. Chris Hemsworth is great as Thor. You know, they did Asgard really well. Captain America, again, you know, not without its flaws. You know, none of the Phase 1 is without, I don't think any of the MCU is without its flaws. But, you know, you've got this really fun, period piece, this alternate history, World War II, that we get to explore, and this very sincere main character. It's all incredible found out. And also Iron Man 2's in there. So, you know, you got this really solid foundation, and then when you got Avengers, which to this date is still probably one of the best films in the MCU. Like, they just knocked that one out of the park. It was such a good film. There's a reason we keep going back to that one. It's just an example of fantastic writing. Like, the main criticisms you always find of that one is just, wait, how the fuck did Elon Musk get suspended? Doesn't he own Twitter? Anyway, welcome to the stream repository, everyone. So, you know, the MCU, they put their, you know, I won't say their absolute best foot forward, because you can always do better, I think. But as far as a foot to put forward, they put forward a pretty damn good foot. You know, Phase 2 fumbled the ball a little bit, to be sure. But it still wasn't like in that completely universe-breaking way, or at least the things that were broken weren't unfixable. They actually, beginning of Phase 3 actually was very admirable in a lot of the stuff they fixed. And then they fumbled the ball again towards the end, but, you know, what you gonna do? It's give and take with this sort of thing. The point is, the MCU was a bit of give and take as far as quality was concerned, but there was enough going for it that you could be excited for it. It's only now that things are in such a dire state that we're kind of like, oh god, is there really any point in being excited for the MCU anymore? But how many films did it take to get to that point? Like, how long did it take to the point where, like, we're at, they went through like 16 films where, yeah, there were bad ones in there, but at least, you know, I was still excited for the next Marvel project pretty consistently. I'm not excited anymore, but that was like a solid decade of, like, you know, being pretty on board with it. DC lost me from the first film, and then sealed the deal with the second one, embarrassed itself further with the third, and then the fourth one, it was just this horrendous, and then we got the original cut of it, which made us realize we didn't know how good we had it. This is like everything that Marvel wasn't, in not a good way. Like, they weren't embracing what was unique about these characters. They weren't embracing the strengths of the shared universe. They were instead, they were so determined to have the image of a shared universe. They were looking at Avengers. They went, oh, we got to have a team of superheroes that are technically different IPs. Well, how about we introduce them all at once, and then maybe we can give them solo films later on. Oh, why don't we make Batman like 40, 50 years old, and like he's done all of his major stories already? Why don't we make Superman, why don't we do Death of Superman at the same time as The Dark Knight Returns in the second film, and have that be the first appearance of our Batman and Wonder Woman, and also barely give Superman any time in his second appearance, and also barely give Superman any character in his first appearance? You see the problem here? You see, there's a lot of hype going around right now about how DC is saved. DC is going to be salvaged by the great, well, for some reason it's going to be salvaged by The Rock, by Dwayne Johnson, and then James Gunn is also going to. And the thing is, right, I don't really have faith that Dwayne Johnson is going to salvage it. Like, he's a very entertaining performer, and, you know, as far as I can see, he's probably also a good businessman. I have not seen any evidence that he is, you know, the quality storyteller that we need to shepherd the DC EU into the new age. And James Gunn, he might be that person. But here's the problem, right? James Gunn would be, you know who else would have been that person? Joss Whedon. Now, say what you want about the man, but he's an incredible writer. But we saw what happened with Joss Whedon when he was given the task of fixing the DCEU when there were only 3 films in the universe. He had to come in like midway through the 4th one and try to salvage that. Now, we have a much larger scale problem where the universe now has more films in it, but what do we have? One good film and another one that kind of has a lot of heart, referring to Shazam, and even the one I would consider, like, you know, the Suicide Squad. I call it good, but I would say it's more a net positive because there's still a lot of problems with that film. Like, remember, I gave it a 4 out of 10 or a 4.5, or was it a 4 or a 5 I gave it? I can't remember. The point is, like, I acknowledge that film has got a lot of problems on its own. I still haven't watched Peacemaker, so maybe that one's good as well. I don't know. The point is that we have a situation here where you can bring in the best talent. You know, you can bring in people who really know the comics. You can bring in people who just know what good storytelling is. You can bring in people who are a mixture of both. You can bring in a whole team. None of that's going to matter unless you just give it a hard reboot, I think. Because let's think about what's broken here. Let's think about what we've already lost. Batman, you can do fuck all with him right now, because all of his stories are gone. Like, you've got some old man Batman stories you could tell, maybe, that could have some flashbacks, maybe, but, like, you're not gonna get to see him rise from, like, his earlier days into a more mature superhero. That's gone. You're not gonna see him be able to adopt the Robins. That's gone. You know, Superman, fucking Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor, that on its own kills it, unless you recast. Like, the way I would fix that, and I don't think they're gonna do it, the way I would fix that is, you would have it be that, you would really lean into the angle that he's Lex Luthor Jr., and then you would introduce Lex Luthor Sr., who is an older man, who is much more like the Lex Luthor we know. That would be a way you could salvage that. But I don't think they're going to do that. Prove me wrong. But then there's a lot of other stuff that's broken. We already had Man of Steel, which had him be incredibly irresponsible. It assassinated the Kents. Like, I don't want anything from the Kents from this universe, which is bad because I love the Kents. He is so, like, rooted in his alien origins that he's not interesting. He's not human. And I'm not saying you couldn't salvage that version of Superman if you really, really tried, but we're kind of at a point where it's like, why are we trying to salvage this when we could just hit the reset button? Why are we trying to get something out of this? Like Aquaman, Jason Momoa, why is Jason Momoa Aquaman? That's all I can say about that. Also, the Aquaman movie's not great. You know, Wonder Woman is Gal Gadot, and then also you got 84 in this universe, and the first one, which also has issues, a lot of them. And, you know, the Jared Leto's Joker. This is... Guys, I know that people want to be excited about DC. I want to be excited about DC. I really, really do. I don't take any pride. I don't make it a point to be cynical. You know how hard I tried to justify Man of Steel when it came out? Like, I came out of that showing with a smile on my face because I was in hardcore denial mode. Because I really wanted to like that film. Because I wanted that to be the film that showed everyone what Superman could be. And it didn't. It just made him worse. We were less for having that film. And then we were again less for having BVS. Like, this is not a universe worth salvaging. DC is worth salvaging, to be sure. Its characters are worth salvaging, to be sure. The idea of a shared universe with all of them? Absolutely. The Henry Cavill's casting? Yes. Yes, that is worth salvaging. I don't think there's much else worth salvaging, though. Maybe the Suicide Squad, you could, like, have that be in, like, either timeline. Like, the actress who plays Amanda Waller, I forget her name, she's really good. I would keep her. I'm just trying to think of, you know, all the Peacemaker guys, they can stay. You know, Amy Adams, I could take or leave as Lois Lane. You know, she was given, like, such shit material to work with, I can't really judge her. Michael Shannon was good as Zod, for the most part. It's just, again, he's not really given much to work with. He was very funny, though. I don't think I would want to replace him. He's such a gem, that man. But, you know, I can't live without On a Farm. But, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, the Suicide Squad was a mixed bag, exactly. We need a clean slate. It's not enough to do... Because I keep hearing the words soft reboot thrown around. I keep hearing those words thrown around. We don't need a soft reboot. We need everything to go. Like, we can keep certain superficial elements. Again, Henry Cavill, keep him. Sure. But make it clear that it's not the same version of Superman. Like, look, you've got... Because you do have precedent in certain other media, like, what's his name who played... I'm gonna just look it up very quickly. So you've got... what's his name? Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa. I probably just butchered the pronunciation, but you got Kari Hiroyuki, who played Shang Tsung in the original Mortal Kombat, and then he played him again in Mortal Kombat Rebirth, a completely different continuity, and then he played him again in MK11. They keep bringing him back because he's pretty definitive as Shang Tsung, right? So I could see that being the same for Henry Cavill, but I would never want Henry Cavill to reprise his role as DCEU Superman. I would want to give him a brand new universe to play with, brand new opportunities, you know, second chances to do things. And we're not getting that from this universe. This is a tainted universe. I never want to revisit it. Like, I didn't want to go back to it after Man of Steel. I especially didn't want to go back to it after BVS. I think after Man of Steel, there was wiggle room to salvage it a little bit, I think. There was still a lot of stuff ruined, but you had opportunities still present. Like, the world was still... The oyster was shutting, but you could still crowbar it out there to make the world your oyster again. You can't do that anymore. The oyster is shut. The world is no longer your oyster. It is just this clamped, closed thing that you can just draw pretty pictures on. This is not gonna work. And that's why I'm worried about James Gunn. I'm worried about what's gonna happen with his reputation if he can't pull a miracle out of his ass and somehow salvage this thing and make it really good. Because I think we're past the point where that's possible, or at least past the point where that's gonna be worthwhile. Like, yeah, there's a lot of characters that haven't been touched. So I think you could do a lot of good standalone stories to be sure. But like, as far as let's think about this. The best stuff that come out of this universe has not starred the main DC people. The Trinity is fucked. The Justice League is fucked. A lot of the things associated with them are fucked. It's all fucked because they fucked it so hard in the beginning. And there just comes a point where it's like, why bother? Why bother with this version? Just fucking clear it. Don't even bother with an in-universe explanation. Just fucking scrap it. You're already doing stuff out of universe, like you did the Batman, you did Joker. Those weren't in continuity with your DCEU. So why bother keeping that if you're willing to if you already are so constrained by this universe that you're having to do solo projects just to do this stuff? If you're having to have multiple concurrent universes going because the one you built was so broken from day one, why bother? Why fucking bother? You know, I'm not hearing the best things about Black Adam either, so that thing that was meant to save the DCEU is clearly not working. I've heard people are cooming in their pants over Henry Cavill in a post-credit scene, or a mid-credit scene. I don't know which one it is, but it's like, it's still the same version. Sure, he has the spit curl now, but that's very superficial, and even then, like, they seem to have fixed his costume a tiny bit, but he's still got the ugly, like... Henry Cavill's costume looks like Play-Doh. It looks like... I've actually seen it in person. They had it at a con. It looks like Play-Doh. It looks like I could mess it up by touching it too hard. And it looks overly textured. It's even less saturated in real life. It's actually almost black in real life. Like, they made it more colorful in Black Adam, but the very original one, it was almost black. Like, it's not actually that much of a shift in Zack Snyder's Justice League when it turns fully black. So that costume alone, you know, you can replace the costume, to be sure. You can replace that costume, you can give him the spit curl, you can give him the trunks, you can give him the John Williams theme. It's not going to change what's already happened. It's not going to change the things that are already dead. The things that need to be fixed aren't skin deep. The things that need to be fixed are fundamental. They are at the root of where this entire universe has grown. And there is nothing you can do except for a reboot. A proper, hard reboot that just tosses everything away, keeps the superficial stuff that works, and starts over fresh. Once you do that, you might be in a good place. But until that point, and until you learn why the DCEU was just such a colossal failure, you know, sure, it makes money, but as far as its potential goes, it's fucked. Until they learn that lesson, nothing's gonna change. Remember, they brought in some of the best writers in the industry to try and fix the Transformers films about 4 or 5 films in. Most of them quit after about a year because I think some of them were for unrelated reasons, but I get the feeling a lot of it was just due to creative differences, not being able to work within the universe that they were given. I get the feeling the same thing's going to happen with the DCEU. So that's the beginning here. Let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see, Henry Cavill deserves to be a good Superman. Exactly, he does not deserve the Superman that he's gotten to play. He deserves to have a Superman worthy of his talents. We need a hard flush, exactly. Warner will not do a hard reboot. These companies are reluctant to admit fault. I have no doubt that they are never going to. They've sunk too much into this, and I think they're too prideful to do so, and if they were fans to begin with, we wouldn't be in this mess. I think the only way you're getting a hard reboot is if, well, here's the thing, right? There is new management over at Warner Brothers, but I don't think it's the new management is not like, they're willing to cancel all these projects, right? But I don't think it would indicate to me that they understand what's wrong if they were just willing to cancel the DCEU in general. If they were willing to just go, we're not giving up on the DC universe in general, but what we inherited was fucked. So we're not gonna bother with it. We are not gonna bother. So, and you know, fair enough on that front, fair enough. Good evening, Camille, how do you do? Let's see, they're afraid of offending Snydoids. Yeah, wasn't there that report saying that they really regretted letting Snyder have his cut because that just, you know, the Snyder people, the really crazy ones, you know, they're the kind of people who like, if you give an inch, they'll take a mile. Let's not forget that Michael Bay once wanted there to be no Autobots in his Transformers movies. He just wanted Decepticons. If he had gotten his way, that is all there would be, evil robot aliens. I have no doubt. And didn't the studio specifically, didn't the studio not want them to talk as well? They didn't want talking robots. They just wanted engines for the action scenes, basically. Like that's really telling, isn't it? The main characters, they didn't want them to be characters. I've always, you know what, this is a bit of a tangent, a tiny bit. But you know what's funny? You know what was the most frustrating? This was all the way back in high school when I would talk about these films, because I think Transformers was like my first quote-unquote red pill when it came to, you know, franchises I like not being above criticism. But you know what was the original, like, you know how with Man of Steel we have arguments like, oh, it was his first day, or oh, this is just what would realistically happen. You know, like just really garbage arguments for why these things are the way they are. Well, with fucking, what is it? Not Michael, but well, with Transformers, right? I kept arguing, you know, back in high school, we need the Transformers as the main characters. We need the focus to be, we need the emotional core to be with them. I'm sick of them focusing on the humans so much. And everybody would turn around and say, meme, these films needed the human element. You need to capture the human. We would never relate to these robots. Why would we make the robots? And I wanted to tear my hair out because it's just like, I thought I was the autistic one, but you're taking the idea of the human element so fucking literally that you could never tell a story about fucking Superman with it. You could never tell a story about Rocket the Guardians of the Galaxy would be fucked because there's only one human in there. Toy Story would be fucked because those human beings aren't the main characters in those films. And it was the most frustrating thing in the world. Professor Geek's recent video where he says Henry Cavill will not and never be Superman. I would be very curious to hear what the hell his arguments were, because because Henry Cavill is like a revelation as far as Superman is concerned. It's just he was given bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. And yeah, like the extent of the quote-unquote human element in Guardians of the Galaxy is 0.5. We have a 0.5. We have a 50% human. That is, you have 50% Earth DNA, and that's your lot. Oh man, that's disappointing because Professor Geek has had good Superman takes in the past, so I have no clue why he would have that specific take. That's very, very disappointing. But you know, maybe there's at least a rationale there that I could understand, even if I disagree. Who is to know about these things? But anyway, like the fucking, I hate garbage arguments to defend garbage films, because like I am not the kind of person who says that you should never defend a bad film, in the sense that if someone's making a crap argument against a bad film, you need to point that out as a crap argument, because that weakens your, like TLJ, right? How many crap arguments are there against TLJ in existence that make it look like all the critics of TLJ are just idiots who don't want women in their films or whatever? Like how many people, you know, go, my SJW this, my heroes that, oh, it's corrupting our collective mythology, like very vague statements that don't really compute when it comes to, you know, how people consume media outside of the people who already agree with them. I wasn't necessarily on the fence with TLJ. I knew I didn't like it. Like I came out of that film not really sure. I thought maybe I liked it, maybe I didn't. I was still processing it when I came out of the theater. On the drive home, it was pretty clear that I didn't like it. I wanted to like it though. It had a lot of ideas that appealed to me. It's just I couldn't with the execution. But I was so distraught with the arguments being made with a lot of it. And then I found Mauler's content, and his videos were actually focusing on like the correct issues with that film. And that was like a little bit of a validating moment for me. But I can understand why some people think that the people who hate TLJ are just in X group, because a lot of arguments against TLJ, especially when it first came out, were just really bad. It was only when like people like Mauler came out that were not focusing on like the political side of it, that we finally got like the concrete arguments that hold up no matter what. So I think that you do need to fight against bad arguments against bad films, because that's going to strengthen your overall position of it being a bad film if you can fight against arguments that are crap against it. So in that regard, you know, there's the reverse. So if you really like a film, I think it's worth, you know, I think it's worth, you know, beating down the bad arguments to defend it as well. You know, that was a tangent there that wasn't really structured and kind of went places that didn't really have a definitive conclusion point. But the point is, I hate fucking garbage arguments to either defend a film or to slander a film. No matter if the film is good or bad, I hate the garbage arguments no matter what. If your argument is only going to appeal to people who already agree with you, and there's no potential for it to change someone's mind with someone going, oh, you might have a good point there, it's just not an argument worth making. Maybe rethink it. If you can't point to something definitive in the film's writing that directs it in a good or bad direction, maybe think about it a little bit more. The Land Before Time is an awful film because there are no humans in it. Where's the human element? I can't relate to these dinosaurs. Reboot needs to be in modern times with barking dinos. Could you imagine a reboot of The Land Before Time where all the dinosaurs don't talk and it's just humans? It would be like Dumbo, but Land Before Time. Oh, hi, Sexbots. How do you do? Do we actually have any mods in the chat today? That's, uh-oh. Do we have mods? Do we have mods today? This might be a bad, oh my god, I pulled up like the 3 dots. I clicked on the 3 dots next to this chat bot, which I do of course to put them in timeout. But then I also see that the very first option, the last option, which is the closest to the dots, is add a moderator. Could you imagine if I accidentally made the chat bot a moderator? Could you imagine that? That would be, what would happen? I almost want to try it just to see what would happen, but I'm afraid that I would lose everything. So I'm just going to do this because it's oh god, oh that would be a funny thing. That would make for a great clip at the very least. Just making the sex bot the admin. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us, only sky. But yeah, like we've been talking for a little bit now. How about we launch into some notes? So why is this called the Demonetisation Special? Well, it's because I have a build-up. I have a build-up of notes, right? There are some saucy ones in there. There are some saucy, there's some saucy ones, and there are some controversial ones. There are some really dark ones. And again, I'm not going to be able to get through all of it today because I ran out of time to coagulate my notes. But that doesn't mean we can't get through at least some of them, right? We can get through, 1 or 2 today, and then next week we can get through a couple more. It'll be a good time. Be a good time. Before that, though, so one of the things I've been doing is streamlining a little bit. This has been, again, you need to put in a lot of work at the beginning so that it is minimal work for the rest of the show's runtime, right? So I didn't really know how to do images correctly in OBS ahead of time, if that makes sense. So I just kind of dragged the image into OBS and hoped that would work. And oh my goodness, that's not meant to be on screen right now. What the hell? So I spoiled the surprise for everyone. Oh no, I'm sorry, everyone. So that was meant to be over here. So I've installed a new program that will allow me to just look at images in a slideshow manner without having to just create new scenes in OBS, which was a lot of time and effort. I just want to be able to quickly get things into a stream. And just quickly download the image and then being able to put it on screen like this, and then I can zoom in and out as needed, and it's a good time. I got something called Image Glass that allows me to do that. So I'm gonna hopefully have a less stressful time putting together these streams. So this is a meme that I think Odin sent me, or maybe it was either Odin or Skyhab. I'm actually gonna double check that, because I don't want to misattribute, because I want to make sure, people get credit if at all possible. So I'm just going to quickly, very quickly, just look this up. Oh yeah, it was Skyhab. Okay, so Skyhab, he made this meme. This was actually for the first meme repository. Hello, Cthulhu. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing quite well myself. I should have warmed up a little bit more ahead of time, but I just ran out of time. And I think this was in reference to the part of the stream where I was doing my best impression of a time traveler trying to explain the Flash movie to someone in 2006. I put a big emphasis on Snyder's films having a cult following. And so he sent me So he sent me this, and I thought it was really funny. Yeah, I really like this. I meant to show it last week, but last week was a bit of a wash as far as prep was concerned, so I just moved it to this week. But yeah, we got that out of the way. And also, just why the hell is this window capture here? Just want to delete that window capture. Okay, cool. So we're good. That's that out of the way. And thank you again, Skyhab, for sending that in. I really appreciate that. And how is everyone liking? You know, we've got a lot of people here now. How is everyone liking the new setup? It's still not finished yet. It's still going to be placeholder for quite a while. But how does everyone like the new placeholder? Is it better, worse than the last one? I'm curious. I'm curious to get some feedback on this, because sometimes, you know, I find receiving feedback is just as much a skill as giving it, because there's that instinct where you either want to listen to everything that people say or you want to listen to nothing. So I try to put it in the middle, where I know how to filter out the good feedback from the bad. So I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say, if there's maybe some points that I'm missing. You look better but weird without the helmet, to be honest. Yeah, like it's very different, isn't it? The helmet, the helmetless look. And this is something I always planned for the helmetless look to be the stream repository look, because this is a more casual show. So why would I be wearing the helmet? It gets sweaty, and you know, I don't wear it everywhere. You know, I wear it when I go outside. I wear it when I go to work. It's my uniform. But now, you know, we're kind of just chilling out by the fire. So why would I keep my helmet on? I just want to let my scalp be free, you know? Fire seems a little fast. So funnily enough, the fire is actually probably at its original speed, or it's a little bit slowed down. So that's I just find that interesting that it seems fast. If that's the case, I can look into maybe slowing that down, see how it looks. That's something for me to at least think about, at the very least. You need a pipe and a smoking jacket to accent the fire, it seems. Yeah, like the body I have right now, the clothes I'm wearing, that's very placeholder. I basically just wanted to find... I just needed to find like a stock image of someone sitting by the computer in casual clothes. And I wanted something more like with a kind of robe sort of look. But, you know, you kind of have to pick and choose your battles with that one, especially when you're going for placeholder stuff. But yeah, I do agree. There's a lot of room to improve with the body there. That's very much a placeholder. I can fix your hands. You know, I would appreciate that actually, if you want. Hopefully there's a clean enough image there for you to if you wanted to send me like just a fixed version of the hands on Discord or something. I can plonk them in. Yeah, you know, I do agree. There's the body really does need work, doesn't it? You know, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it as a placeholder, but I very much have the podcast art pending thing there for a reason, because I don't want people to think this is the final look. Do you have a link for the stick image? For the stick image? The stick image? What do you mean by the stick image? Do you mean just the original image, or the stock image? You're probably trying to... I can probably dig that up for you. Sure. Just DM me and I'll get back to you. How about that? Anyway, so what do we have next? So the next thing I want to talk about gives me the perfect excuse to use this clip.
Amazing. A booby trap that actually catches boobies.
We're going to talk some Transformers now. We're going to talk some Transformers. Speaking of sex bots. Oh man, do you think that when they wrote that line into the show, they knew exactly what they were doing? Do you think that they knew what it would sound like, or do you think it was one of those things that they just, you know, the term booby was more associated with fool at the time? I don't know. The 1980s, man, that was a transition. Actually, 60s, 70s, 80s, those were all like really transitional decades, weren't they? So it's kind of difficult to tell what the exact values were at the time. How do I find the Discord? Are you in Mauler's Discord server? I should be there. I don't want to put my Discord details in the stream itself, because I don't want everyone being able to easily access them, but if you're in Mauler's Discord server, I should be there. At the end of that clip, you can see Astrotrain kind of flailing about in the last frame, because it's a little flash frame that was for some reason included in the final clip that I couldn't be fucked to edit out. And then, you know, that gets me to thinking, like, Astrotrain. Like, he is a triple changing transformer. That means he has a robot mode and 2 vehicle modes. And I feel like they've sat on him. I feel like, in the sense that I feel like he is easily one of the coolest transformers. It's in his name, Astrotrain. He is a giant robot who transforms into both a train, a locomotive, and a space shuttle. You know, you've got giant robots, trains, and outer space. Everything a growing boy needs. Why is he not more popular? Why? Like, that's everything, at least for me, and I feel like this was the case for quite a few kids. You know, like, what are some of the most common interests among kids and young boys especially? It's robots, it's trains, it's space, and he's got all of them. Why is he not more popular? Why is he so sidelined all the time? Like, this guy, he should be like the most marketable thing on planet Earth, Astrotrain. He's even got kind of like the Soundwave thing. He's got like this cool reverberating voice going. And yet again, they've cucked him. Why have they cucked Astrotrain so hard? Like, Blitzwing always seems like the more popular one. He transforms into both, he's a triple changer that turns into both a tank and a jet fighter, but I feel like that's nowhere near as unique as a fucking train and a space shuttle. He rides on the train tracks, and then he transforms into a space shuttle and flies away. And then he can transform back into a robot. That's fucking awesome! What the fuck? I need it. I need more Astrotrain in my life. I really do. I've heard like arguments like it would be too difficult to do in live action, which, you know, I'm not really talking about the films as much as I'm talking about the general neglect of him in the franchise in general. I think one of the things that doesn't help is that in the G1 cartoon, he was introduced in that era where they kind of stopped introducing characters properly for the most part. Like, they would still do it occasionally, but he just kind of popped out of nowhere. He was just kind of there in one episode, and they just kind of treated it like it was no big thing. So he didn't really get a proper introduction. He didn't get many episodes in the spotlight in the original. I think you had Triple Takeover, and that's it. And he had a small part in the film, and a smaller part in season 3, and that was your lot. But I feel like, you know, there's opportunity for him to be like one of the bigger characters because of his, if only because of his gimmick alone. But they're just not taking it. They're not taking advantage of it, and it's really disappointing. It's really, really disappointing. But we're not here to talk about. But we're not here to talk about the cucking of Astrotrain. That's just something that's been on my mind recently because I really like Astrotrain and I want more of him. Like as soon as I saw him like in the opening for season 2, and as soon as I saw him, and especially when I saw him in Transformers the movie, I was just like, I want to know more about this guy. I want to know more about Astrotrain, and I didn't really get it. But yeah, we're not talking about Astrotrain. I just wanted to mention him at the very beginning because it's funny. So I recently finished rewatching Transformers Animated, and it's a really, and if you're wondering how it holds up, it's a really enjoyable show. It's a show with plenty of issues, to be sure, like the Allspark key is just downright broken. It's a key that can do anything. It can resurrect Transformers without any issue. It's got very few limitations. And they very rightfully wrote it out in season 3 because that thing is ridiculous. So I'm not a big fan of the Allspark key, but I really like the characters. I really like how it's very clear that the creative team loved G1 and Beast Wars and all that, and they very clearly wanted to keep a lot of stuff from it, but give it like a fresh spin, give it like a better framing structure than the original shows. And so I really like it. I like the idea of the Autobots we're following being basically just a bunch of repair people that end up in over their heads. So they don't. There's something interesting about that show, right? Is that none of the Autobots outside of Bumblebee, who even then it's by technicality, none of them have guns, and not in the sense that an Autobot would never use a gun. and not in the sense that they weren't allowed to show guns, because the Decepticons have a lot of guns. But the reason they don't have guns is because these guys were space bridge repairmen, and they just happened to get thrust into the middle of this intergalactic conflict. And they're much more superhero so as a result they become much more superhero-like in the way that they fight, because they're repurposing their mining tools into weapons. The way I describe Prime is not Prime, animated, as far as like its overall premise is concerned, like not going by execution of certain ideas, but just kind of how it approaches the idea of a reboot, an adaptation. Like, it's kind of a bit of both. Is that it doesn't do it with cynicism. It doesn't do it with cynicism, but it also doesn't do it with rose-tinted spectacles. What it does is it takes all the stuff that is really popular, takes all the stuff that people like. It just takes all the elements from all the previous, from G1, Beast Wars, fucking the Unicron trilogy, even the live-action films, which were all the main properties at the time. It takes all the elements from all of those properties, and they reinterpret them in a way that is completely recognizable, but also in a way that is entirely unique. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just trying to give the wheel a better housing. And I think it really works for what it's trying to do. I think I have gripes with, again, stuff like the Allspark key, but I think that as far as how you should the philosophy behind how you should approach an adaptation or a reboot, I think animated is like one of the gold standards for it, because you can see how it took all the puzzle pieces from it's like they treated all the previous shows as puzzle pieces, and it's this show's job to put them all together in a coherent way. And I think that's my favorite way to adapt something, because it keeps everything that you like about it, but then it also makes it better, because it's trying to add more layers on top of it, if that makes sense. It's letting these elements breathe a little bit more. So Spider-Man PlayStation 4, I think, is another example. Spectacular Spider-Man and Spider-Man PlayStation 4, I think those are two examples of that sort of adaptation style in effect as well, because you can see, again, it's I guess you can call it puzzle piece adaptation, where it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about taking that wheel and, I guess I already said it. The wheel still works, but you can always give it a better vehicle to go with, right? And I guess that's kind of what you're doing. It's just it's taking what was done before. It's going, like, let's just say, let's take the character of Starscream, for example. What do we have from Starscream in G1? We know he's treacherous. We know he's always at odds with Megatron. We know he dies. We know that he comes back as a ghost. We know that Beast Wars established that he had a mutant immortal spark to explain how the fuck a robot came back as a ghost. So what did they do in Transformers Animated? Well, first episode, they establish him as, plotting behind Megatron's back. We establish him sabotaging Megatron. Then when Megatron comes back, he kills Starscream almost immediately for his treachery, which is something that should have happened in G1 well before it did. So that makes sense. And then they use the whole Allspark fragment thing to bring him back to life, and go with and kind of do the Starscream's ghost storyline in a more coherent way, the whole immortal spark thing in a more coherent way, while also at the same time giving him a definitive weak spot that he can eventually be killed by. The Allspark fragment thing has its own problems, but that's just kind of an example of how they took all the ideas from the past iterations, and then they didn't try to reinvent it. They just gave it a different framing structure that makes it unique, but also kind of fun in its own right. And there's argument, and you can make the argument of what was done better. So that's my favorite kind of adaptation, I think. The kind of thing that is reverent, but not to the point of lunacy. It is not trying to just be a one-for-one. It's not trying to be one-for-one with what came before, but it's not trying to be like, oh, we are better than the ideas sort of thing. It's saying, no, let's take these ideas and let's figure out how do we do them straight? How do we do them? How can we expand upon them? And, the Spider-Man PS4 was a little bit the same, because it was like, how do we get, Doc Ock's origin in that game was like really well done. You get to see how all the different pieces come together for that one. Spectacular Spider-Man. You have all the different pieces from all these decades of comics. How do we slot them together in a coherent way that gives us all the iconography of Spider-Man, but also gives it a coherent framing structure within this show? And I think that really worked. You know, they took the Venom, for example. They took the best parts of the mainstream and Ultimate universes and fused them into one. And that was very satisfying to see. There's still ways that show could have improved, to be sure. But I think they did a really good job with what they did. And again, that's the kind of philosophy and attitude I want to see taken with adaptations. Wow, that was a tangent and a half. But why was I bringing up Transformers Animated? Well, I was halfway through my second watch through, and then when I had to pause, as you do. Sometimes we need to pause. Sometimes, we need to do things that are outside of our control. And that's okay. We need to, sometimes we just need to do what we're gonna do. And, oh my goodness. So, I'm just looking at it right now. So, so I paused, but I still had I was splitting my screen real estate, right? I had I had 1/4 of the screen was Transformers Animated, the other quarter was something else, and the other half was another thing. So I was focusing on the other thing while I still had Transformers in the corner of my eye. And it took me a second. My brain was not accepting visual stimuli that well that day. So it took me a little while to process what exactly I had paused on. But once I realized what I had paused on, I just could not screenshot it. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. So I paused on this. So the Bumblebee and Optimus going for the Neil Druckmann Award. What I love about this is Optimus is very clearly into it, judging by his mouth shape. But Bumblebee, he's less than impressed. He expected more from his leader, Optimus Prime. He expected a little bit more, and he's quite frankly a little bit bored with his how shall we say, pitiful piston pumps. So that was funny. That was a very funny thing to stumble upon. Just fucking look at that face. Look at that. Doesn't it say it all? Doesn't that just? Meanwhile, it's just like, oh, I'm so horny right now. I'm so into this. Oh man, just finish already. It's so funny. It is so funny. Optimus Prime and Bumblebottom, or maybe Bottombee. I don't know. Either one works, I think. Optimus Prime and Bumblebottom. So good. Being a grunt sucks. Oh yeah. Well, the great thing about animated is that they're all grunts. They are all grunts. Just some are more grunts than others. There we go. Just adjusting something very quickly. There we go. Okay. So, we got that. But now we're gonna look at something. Well, speaking of porn, right? There was a senator or someone in politics. Point is, someone's running for office. And so I think it might be like a position in New York, either representing New York as a state or running for mayor of New York. I don't actually know. I haven't. I have not double-checked what position this person is running for. But what I want to highlight is that one of his policies revolved around sex positivity and, sex workers, giving them an even shot, and not, destigmatizing sex work, all of that. We're not going to get into, the actual policy itself. I just need to highlight what his policies are in order for this next bit to make sense. It is important to know the broad strokes of what he's proposing to contextualize what happened next. So you see, as part of his election campaign, he decided to upload a sex tape of himself to Pornhub. He usually a sex tape is something that leaks, something that comes out because someone else had acquired it. Not this man. As part of his electoral campaign, he decided to promote his sex-positive sex worker policy. This man, this person, this Chadley man, was going to upload his own sex tape to Pornhub. So there is nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. There is only porn, and it is good. So, naturally, I had a little squeezy squeeze at this video out of sheer morbid curiosity. And it's nothing too freaky deaky. It's pretty standard intercourse. It's what you would expect. An older gentleman has sex with a much younger woman, actually. Might have been, I don't know if she was hired for the video or not, or if they were just sex, or if they were fuck buddies to begin with. But the point is, he uploaded that to Pornhub, and look, he could have uploaded it anywhere, but I understand why he uploaded it to Pornhub, because that's like the big sex site, right? That's like it's got the biggest market share. It's got the most eyeballs on you, right? So if you're going to use it as part of your election campaign, sure, put it on Pornhub. The consequence of that, however, is that it means that he's put himself at the mercy of what is quite possibly the greatest comment section on the internet. Like YouTube comments, fuck that off. Twitter replies, fuck that off harder. Facebook, Instagram, fuck them all. Pornhub comments, my dear viewer. Pornhub comments. This is where the real shit is. And it is my absolute privilege today to share with you the comments under this senator's or senator-to-be's sex tape. So let us take a look. Let us thrust ourselves in, balls deep, into the comments section and see exactly what his awaiting public had to say about this stunt. Okay, so first comment from one CSGNYC. Now, pretty tame username. Let's see. Having watched the video, I now know your positions. Where do you stand on monetary policy? That's pretty valid question. I think it's important to ask these questions, and I do agree. Like a sex tape is a good way to know someone's positions on things. I haven't read these in a while, so a lot of this is new to me. So we have Hugh Coxman. I think there's a missed opportunity there for it to be huge cocked man, or huge jacked man, or something similar. But still got a laugh out of me. Still got a laugh. And so this one goes, finally, watching the news finally paid off, and I agree. Watching the news did pay off because, I didn't watch the news, but I did see an article come up, and that's what drew my attention. So same concept, really. So we got Timosis, and I'm keeping the usernames here because you'll see. Timosis, news story brought y'all here too. Again, that's it's a trend. This is I love that they bond in the Pornhub comment section. You would think it would be a bunch of awkward people, but no, there's an entire community on Pornhub. And Pornhub isn't just straight porn anymore. There are porn reviews on Pornhub now. Because, if you want to upload that to YouTube, you have to censor the fuck out of it. But you can then upload it to Pornhub completely uncensored and get away with it. It's great. Like, there are other utilities for Pornhub outside of just straight porn. Because you got the straight porn, and then you got reviews of pornographic films there, which can be presented uncensored. It's truly an amazing world we live in, I think. And then we got a couple here. So we got TTB man. I don't know what that acronym stands for, but I assume it's something hilarious. I was hoping for more action. The camera angles suck and no money shot. Come on, man, if you want to run for Congress, learn how to fuck one person before you try to fuck millions. And I agree. Gotta start small. And then you work your way up. Jacking Off Now 5002 writes, we appreciate the attempt though, so that's in response. And then Bruce City 2010, after a series of laughing emojis, goes, he lost my vote with this one. And it's just like, there's some very scathing reviews of his performance there. I guess the lesson here might just be that if you're going to use a sex tape to promote your election campaign, you better put your best foot long forward as far as how this sex tape is presented. I mean, you've got the money for the election campaign. You can probably hire like a decent crew to shoot this thing. You don't need to go amateur with it. But you know, maybe these are just the initial comments. Maybe there'll be some more favorable ones in here. You know, I'm curious to see the whole spectrum of comments on this on this piece of art. I think lazy as fuck. No surprise coming from a demo rat. No motion in the ocean with a stumpy little dick. And that's from Silo Johnson 72. Nice. And then we also have Ghost to Kig, who also said he's actually running as an indie penis. See, you got demo rat, which is kind of a clever pun, and then you got indie penis. You know, I'm gonna critique you, Ghost to Kig. I'm disappointed in you. I am very disappointed. Extremely disappointed. But I do like no motion in the ocean with a stumpy little dick. That is a very that gets a good chuckle out of me. That is a I like that. I like that a lot. I really like that. You know, and it's true. You know, because I have watched it, and he mainly just lies on his back while the woman does all the work, which I guess, you know, I think that is sex positive in its own right. But I think it's if we want to promote a standard of equality and just show that you are made of sterner stuff, I think we do need to. I do think you need to show a little bit more of you doing some stuff, right? He needs to be a little bit more engaged with the activity rather than just sitting there letting the woman do all the work. That's, you know, that might even send a mixed message in its own way. It might even, let's see, even independent would have been better. Yeah, I think so. God damn. I knew it was coming, and still. Chonky White Cock said, oh god, no, get that off stream right now. Ignore that photo. Get that right off stream right now. This is going right into private. This broadcast is going right into the private, I think, right after the stream. Well, this is the demonetization special, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this. No, don't resize. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do this, right? And then we're going to slowly go up. We're gonna slowly go up. What for white chunky cock? White chunky cock. I meant to blur that. I meant to black that out. I knew that I had to black that out. And I didn't. Because I forgot completely about it until I saw it right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our best foot forward here. We're gonna do this, so there's no chance that it gets on screen. And then we're gonna do the slow reveal of the comment, just to make sure. And now I am gonna have to do more work in the editing bay than I normally would. Okay, so here we go. So from one white chunky cock, wrong blocked. God damn it, not voting for anyone who fucks like this. I agree, white chunky cock. I think that this should be standard practice for politicians. Let's just think about this, right? If a politician can't get their partner off, what chance do they have for the American people? If you can't please your partner, what chance do you have for pleasing the public? That is my question. I mean, why not censor it real quick? Well, you see, that would take too much time, and I don't want to, you know, we have so much momentum going here. What I am going to do, right, is switch back to this, and I'm going to make sure that the next one is fine, and then I'm going to switch back like so, just so we know. And I think this is a good stopgap. Anyway, actually, you know what I can do? We're going to put this here. Whenever something bad comes up, we can just use that as the cover-up. How about that? There we go. I think we solved the mystery. Oh yes, the suave men are out. And very fitting too, because there is nothing but suave people on Pornhub. Let's be clear about this. So, from Wank Zeros, which, you know, just quality username. Want to experience the same disappointment this woman is feeling from having to fuck this man? Then check out my music. I can't promise you'll enjoy it, but I can say it certainly fucks harder than he does. Well, I guess, you know, that, and you know what? You know, I don't feel bad shilling this man. I don't know if I would click that link or not, to tell you the truth. I would give fair warning against that. So, you know, I don't know if I would go to that link, to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you fair warning. I don't know if that links to something legit. But, you know, the advertising here, I think it's quality. I think we have quality advertisement for his product, and I appreciate it a lot. So I'm just going to... What happens if I switch to studio mode? I guess, okay, so that doesn't really... I don't really know how to use studio mode. I will figure that out at some other date. Because I'm figuring if I can preview the next thing ahead of time, that might actually, you know, open up some possibilities, but we'll see. Okay, no cock in this next one, so I can safely do this. I'm gonna move this down anyway, because, you know, it's important. So from Green Snake Moan, which again, I love these usernames. I just love, you know, Green Snake Moan. I love it. I absolutely love it. So what you're saying is you're going to be on your back most of your term and make the woman do almost all of the work. So basically, like every other guy in Congress, you'll fit right in. And, you know, very honest feedback, but also it's kind of a backhanded encouragement saying, you know, this video here, this pornographic video that you have uploaded, it has given me faith that you, my friend, are going to fit in just fine with the rest of the politicians in the US Congress for better. So I guess this guy is running for Congress. Maybe this is just, maybe this guy doesn't, but then again, the source here is, dude, trust me. So gonna have to double check if he is running for Congress or if it's for another position of office. We shall see. So Titty Fritz said, how am I supposed to vote if I'm too busy jacking off? And that's kind of the thing, right? Because we've had like criticism of this video, to be sure. But then there's the other side of the tracks, which is the people who love this video and are just so busy, you know, getting one with themselves, let's just say, just, you know, feeling like they are that woman or even that man, who knows? And you're just being with this senator, like the people who love this video, you know, the core audience that this is meant to appeal to, they might not make it to the booth because they might become addicted to just looping this. They're gonna jack off to the point where their cum turns to dust. It's a tragic story, I think. And I think this really highlights the core issue with promoting your election campaign with such a method. Wago22, I won't vote for you because you got a little dick. The thing is, I don't remember him showing his dick, which I guess could mean that it's small by implication, but some comments later on do seem to indicate that he did not show his dick. But I guess we'll see, right? I mean, I'm not going to go through it on stream just to see, but, you know, I'm getting mixed messages as to whether or not, because I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of just skimmed through it to just see what it was about. Because, you know, I felt like I needed full context for this. You know, I do my due diligence for you guys. I don't take half measures with this show. I watch things for this show, for you guys. I do it so you don't have to. So let's get this next one up. Here we go. And this one is, yeah, I'm going to just move Mr. Swabman out because this person is clearly, you know, they're a verified user. They've gone through the effort to put their profile picture there. And they might even be a pornographic maker of their own. So why would I deny them this free advertisement? Miss Pluto Mutt. Tiny weenies are cute. So he does have a tiny weenie. So does that mean so did he show his cock? I guess he did, right? According to these. Because there's two now. We have two confirmations that he did in fact show his cock. Which, if he does have a tiny weenie, again, bold move. Like, it was already bold, putting it on the internet, putting it as part of your campaign, making it part of your election efforts. But now, if you have a tiny dick, that's even more bold, I feel, like, because it's not a flex at that point. It is a true show of solidarity. You know, this sex tape is giving me a lot to think about. Connoisseurs of the pornographic medium. Yeah, exactly. It is a flex of the spirit. Exactly. So, you know, I should have double checked if there was a dick there before pressing next. There wasn't, but I feel like I should have ahead of time. So we've got Dan. So we've got Dan here, and Dan 72. Sorry, I don't want to misrepresent. I was expecting so much more. Probably too scared to show his dick. This is him basically paying a prostitute and fucking her in the most vanilla way. No vote from me. You see, I'm getting mixed messages here. Does he show his dick at any point? Or does he not? because Dan, how could I not trust someone called Dan? But then again, the person before us, the person just before, that was a verified blue, that was a blue checkmark Pornhub user. They have been verified by Pornhub themselves as the legitest of legit. And they had a profile picture and everything. In fact, Chunky White Cock also had a blue checkmark. So I don't know. Who do I trust here? Because Dan, I don't feel like I can mistrust someone with that username. But the other two, they had the check marks, and Chunky White Cock especially. I feel like he should be the authority on this. Because if anyone knows anything about fucking, knows anything about dick, it should be Chunky White Cock. But sometimes we just don't know. We just don't know with this stuff sometimes. We just don't know. So from Cockycuss, we have some shoot themselves in the foot. This guy lit himself on fire, then shot into the Grand Canyon. I highlighted this one, not because the comment was anything really to write home about, but my God, what a username. Cockycuss. Someone needs to steal that. I love it so much. Cockycuss. That should be like, when the Roman Empire does eventually return, which, any day now, checks watch, Cockycuss, I feel like, should be, that should be the next Roman emperor, Emperor Cockycuss of Rome. That's gonna be fun, I think. I mean, we now have multiple clips of you saying the phrase "chunky white cock." Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I'm so grateful I've been given this opportunity. I feel like so few people are given such a privilege, but, I am not most. And then we have Givenchy Motto, or Givenchy _Motto, who says, he has my vote. And, I think this is just a solid show of solidarity. Just a solid, you know what, man? I've seen you fuck, and I think I know that I want you to represent me to the rest of the American people. I trust you. 'Cause I don't trust the other guy. I don't know how they fuck. I know how you fuck, though. And, maybe it wasn't the best. Maybe your style could use a bit of work. Maybe you could have afforded to show your dick a little bit more. But at least I know. At least I know how you fuck. What can I say about these other people, I can't say I know how they fuck. How can you know someone truly unless you know how they make love? And that, my friend, is a true American hero. I need to be careful. Boring, not sexy. Still glad I watched. And this guy, I think this guy or girl, we don't know. But this person, I think there's something valuable to be learned from here, because they did not like this video, but they found value in having viewed it, because every experience informs the larger human experience, I think. And this person, although they did not enjoy watching the video, they are more for having watched it. They are more for having experienced this sex tape. And I think this is the take-home message here. We are opening ourselves up to new experiences. He gotta get his stroke game up, lol. The comment says it all, really. I don't think I could add much. He gotta get his stroke game up, lol. I think that sums it up, really. He's gotta get his stroke game on, lol. And now we have 3 comments here. Fortunately, none of them have profile pictures. So we have the D-Don, which I'm going to assume is the actual Don's Pornhub account. So, Don bless. Who said, "Why would you release this? You literally have a small dick. Not a good look." So did he show his dick or did he not? Well, I think I have to now default to the Don as the authority, for obvious reasons. I feel like if anyone would know, it would be the Don. Sage advice, as always. Husky Cummer then replies, "It's thick." So we have a dick, right, that is small, short in length, but wide, girthy in thickness. So I don't know, is that... It does raise the million-dollar question. Is girth or length ultimately the more valuable characteristic when it comes to dick size? And it's not about having the biggest or the girthiest dick. It's about having a dick that is just the right size. So would a shorter but girthier dick be preferable to a dick that is longer but thinner? I don't know. Never had a dick inside me before, to tell you the truth. I have been a giver of such things many times, but a receiver, not so much. So, I've heard feedback from a few women saying that You know, they have been with men whose dicks are too big, and also men whose dicks are too small. So you gotta have a balance. But I want to know, what is that equilibrium? What defines the perfectly sized? This is something I wonder very, very, very much. Very, very much. Good name for a band. You're welcome to take it. Mushroom Copdingus. Yeah, that would be a good band name. And then we got Wetworks Porn, which, man, this is like a triple threat. This is like a triple threat of great porn names. Which is what's your national porno? Daddy Long Dick? Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Daddy Long Dick. That's also a band name, I feel. I feel like it would need some specific theming around spiders and dicks. Maybe the logo would be like a spider with dicks for legs, but yeah, I approve. I approve. Daddy Long Dicks. Daddy Long Dick. Daddy Long Dick. And then we've got Pluto Mud again, coming in from the rear. You're really hot, but I do not live in New York, lol. Peace and love to old, bold, horny motherfuckers. Heart. And you know, just again, another just solid show of solidarity. You know, all the peace and love, all the good vibes to the old, bold, horny motherfuckers. Peace and love and kindness and happiness for all time. So this next one is from a user called Grip Strength, which again, fucking solid, absolutely solid. And he writes, if you're gonna put in the amount of work and effort he did in this video, then he's not getting my vote. Lol. Should've popped a blue boy. You look like an old man. Don't mean you gotta fuck like one. And you know, just again, a very solid, very honest feedback. How you fuck is a representation of how you will make love to the American people. How you will treat them with dignity and kindness. And if you can't even muster up the chubby chub for the prosty shrub, this attempt at rhyming has failed. How can the American people trust your chubby chub with them? Solid thinks for stinky stinks. American people, God bless. And then from Big Brain Dwight Main, I love America. And you know, yeah, you know, I think something like this is very patriotic. You know, it is a moment, at least in American history, that will not be forgotten anytime soon. USA, USA, USA. And then from Suburban Pervert, wow, that is an amazing username. We have Giga Chad. You know, we have you know, there's been some very mixed responses to this video. I'm not really a connoisseur of such things, so it's interesting to see the more experienced pornographic users giving their perspective on it, I think. And you know, someone called Suburban Pervert, I feel like he at least has some authority on the issue. I want him to fight the Dodon and see what happens. Hello, Austin Woods. We are reading porn comments. And then we we have Lusty Snowman. I think there's a missed opportunity here in not calling him Lusty the Snowman. Lusty the Snowman, he had a massive dick. His cock was cold, but his technique bold. Cocky, Lusty the Snowman. There we go. Someone remix that into something amazing, make millions of dollars, and then send them to me. I had an account for years to save faves, but my first comment is here on a piece of potential history. Gotta respect a politician that walks the walk, or fucks the fuck in this case. God bless America. And you know what? He is right. God bless America. And let us take a moment of silence in this potential moment in American history. This monumental turning point for the American people. Let us appreciate this moment. Let us not let the moment drift without acknowledgement. Ah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And now we go to Dope 620 with horrible, but he got some nice balls. And you know what? I like this guy because he's honest. He's honest. He's not saying it's all good or all bad. He's acknowledging the gray in between. He's saying that overall, pretty bad, but the silver lining here is that this man, this politician, he's got some great balls. And you know what comes from balls? The seed. The seed. So although the execution, the overall presentation of this sex tape is not great, the seed of greatness is there. And to represent his election campaign, you know, sometimes you don't need to be the strongest candidate out of the gate. Sometimes all you need is the seed of greatness to flourish. The seed of freedom. And now from Watch Out 91. His balls are fat. I can fit him in my mouth. Oh, God. Okay. His balls are fat. I can fit him in my mouth. You know, the sample size grows for whether or not this man has nice balls, whether or not this man has appealing balls. You know, we have I feel like this is a 1-2 punch, right? This is, we have the seed of greatness, and now the seed is starting to flourish into something you can fit in your mouth. You know, I think that's, gives you a lot to chew on, I think. From A and Butt 44. Always wanted to jerk off to a congressman having sex. And you know, I'm glad this person finally got their wish. I'm so happy that their very specific fetish has finally been realized. I think I wish this man nothing but the best, really, because I feel like this has been a turning point in his life, or maybe her life. Maybe they're using jerk off in maybe a more gender neutral way. You know, this is the 21st century, man. From Iron Dick 62. How can you not vote for the guy that gets the most pussy? And that's true. For you see, this is not only a flex of sex positivity, a spirit flex, this is also a flex to show that objectively he is getting the most provable amount of pussy. Is anyone else uploading their sex tapes to the web? No. So by default, he is winning. Because again, you know, it's not about necessarily being the best. Sometimes it's about being the default, being the only one in the race. Because you can't lose at that point, right? He planted his seeds of freedom. He stripped it all down. He goes deep into the subject. He clapped down. He was 1/4 foot ahead of the race. Exactly. So from the Liberal, we have, or maybe it's Xyliberal, I don't know. This video is boring, but I support your policy. Oh, fuck. That is arriving. Oh, fuck. Water now. Okay, so, what I found funny about this, the funny thing about this is that I think this might be one of the few completely sincere comments in that comment section. And I just felt the need to highlight it, that this person is being very, very serious. And I guess they're all serious in their way, but this one is just a little bit more serious. Just a little bit more serious than the others. So we have 2 comments from one Parker Woods, who is again another blue tick, and by the looks of it, he doesn't have his dick out in his profile picture, so we can support him. So, Parker Woods. Like, okay, so I don't know which one of these I should read first. Maybe it's the second one first? Let's read the second one first and see how that goes, because I feel like they're in reverse chronological order. Well, I didn't expect him to serve porn star quality, so the vid def served his purpose, and I support it. But Mike, if you're trying to make it in the adult industry, give us some close-ups and a happy ending. It's just a little sly face there. And it's just like, I think that's solid advice, really. Like, it's his first time. So he needs to know the ins and outs. This is a good opportunity to grow and improve, I think. And then he follows it up with, like, there really is a bigger purpose here. Someone that's truly on the side of sex workers. That's what we need for better protection in our jobs. So I respect this so much, Lamau. And it's just like, I think this is another sincere comment. I think this is another one. I think it's half jokey, half sincere. And it's like, you know what? You know, that's good. That's good. I think I'm glad to see discourse happening in this area. You know, I think we need it. We need to talk about the real benefits of such a thing as putting a sex tape up to promote your campaign. And you know what? I can see an argument for it, to be sure. You know, I think if that's your policy, I think it's a bold move, it's a risky move, but perhaps it's a move that pays off. It's definitely going to get you attention. It's definitely going to get you attention. So will this senator not finish the job? Will he get performance anxieties? Ooh, good question, good question. I think he does finish. I think he does finish both himself and her, so, you know, maybe this is an indication of his larger, his larger ability. And then we have the user, Kung69696969, with typical Democrat can't fuck or come, probably needed to take some gas station hard-on pills to do the shoot. The truth is about this, I again wanted to just highlight the username. The opinions of these commenters are not reflective of the meme repository. The meme repository's political opinions remain his own. But yeah, this is a funny. I consider this a very funny. Again, gotta really protect myself. White chunky cock could pop up at any moment. Osmo. Well, with that username, I definitely probably screen capped this with the comment. Makes a porno, but too afraid to show his dick. I want a candidate who is actually sex positive and body positive. So did he show his dick or not? I need to... I'm not going back through it. We already got in trouble enough with that white chunky cock. You know, I don't need to further increase the literal nature of this demonetization special. So this is I need to... So, I need a straight answer. Does he have a small cock, or did he just not show his cock? Are we implying that he... Did he just leave his... Are we saying that he has a small cock by implication? If so, someone please say that he has a small cock by implication, or something similar. Because I need to know. I need to know. God damn it. So... I gotta read this in my head before I say it out loud. So, Father to Massino... When she seems nice, sharp dresser, and that's true. The woman was wearing a very, a very stylish, very, a very good dress. It suited her body type. It accentuated the right things. It was a good shade of red. It was a very, very fashionable thing. It didn't go crazy or anything. It did its job, and I think, good fashion sense is, it's half the job really in the porn industry. It's kind of like. You wouldn't want to give someone a gift with shitty wrapping paper, would you? So from the user never get married, which, ground-shaking reporting. Ground-shaking reporting, lackluster fucking. Fair enough. He isn't a, news person, but maybe he's using reporting in a different context. I really do not know. That seems to be a trend. The fucking might have been a little bit lackluster. It might have been. But some people also really liked it. Some people really like his balls. I think this is what's great about Pornhub comment section, is that it's a very honest reflection of who we are as a people, as a society. And I like it. I like it a lot. Oh, thank Christ. Oh, okay, so... Oh dear, how are we going to do this? Because I did not... Okay, so I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to once again just... we got to get Suave Man down here. I think... But again, we got to keep going down enough. Just make sure that we don't capture anything. Okay. I'm going to move Suave Man up, I think. Okay, so... this is going to be... We're about to do something very tricky here. I don't know how well it's going to work. So... Oh dear, don't move. That's the last thing I need is more factors to... Ooh, okay. Here we go. Okay, cool. We caught it. Now we got to put it in the net. No, that was not it. No, back. Undo. Okay, we're not gonna do that. Okay. As it turns out, okay. The user with the username The Naked Nerd just left this and it made me giggle. It's just, And it's like, It's like, it's not a firm stance. It's just kind of like, What do you know? It's got some big balls. Anyway, so that was yeah, I should have pre-suaved these things, I think. But yeah, that one just made me giggle. It was just like the just, you can just imagine them with the clipboard, just going like, oh, yeah, that's Doesn't really move much, does he? I mean, I guess his policy might be okay. She seems to be having a good time, though, so maybe... less is more, maybe. I don't know. Do I want someone who takes charge, or do I want someone who kind of lets us take control of our own... Gives us a lot to think about. Gives us a lot to think about. A little bit of pre goes a long way. Very true. Very true. So we got Dirty Doc 69 with, I gotta run for Congress. It's just like, yeah, man. If you run for Congress, like, I think people are a bit bored of the usual tactics, right? So, stunts like this, they can not only be a lot of fun internally, but they can get you attention. Whether or not it'll be the right kind of attention, well, I think that is that is to be determined. But I think at the very least you are going to get attention, and that's the important thing, right? To get eyeballs on you. From Demonetisation, 1982. Include some POV shots next time. And it's like, yeah, again, the take-home message here is this is quite an amateurish production for such a wealthy individual, presumably. I mean, I don't actually know, but maybe the reason he did this is because he didn't really have the money for an election campaign and he needed to get eyeballs on his policy somehow. It's one of those things. It's one of those things you just got to think about sometimes. But next time, maybe getting some POV shots in there. Doing multiple takes. Really like refining your product. I think this could be a benefit. And as Jose said, this could fund his campaign really. This is getting the eyeballs on him. You can get a lot of donators this way from places that other politicians perhaps haven't thought to go to. He should have commissioned a hentai. Maybe, but I think he wanted to put himself into the action, sure that he wasn't above it. So I guess he could have commissioned hentai of himself, but that wouldn't be him doing it. Even if he made the porn. Even if he made the moan sounds for it. Wetworks Porn returns from the rear going, he has my vote. Can I be in the next vid? And, see, we already have volunteers. We already have people lining up to support his campaign. And I think this is going to go a long way for him. I think he's going to go places with this. And, thumbs up, man. Thumbs up. You are, whatever the response is, clearly you are gaining interest. It doesn't matter what the vocal minority of haters say, so long as that silent majority is supporting you, right? And from the user, the cock I must have it. Damn, I was hoping he'd have a big cock, or at least a big load, but I guess I will never know. So what I'm gathering from that is that he finished inside of her. And yeah, like, if you're going to release a sex tape, you need the money shot. Sure. Your private time sex, finish wherever you want, but, when you're doing it for an audience, right? When you're putting on a show, I just got here. You came just at the right moment. Or show the aftermath. That's right, show the drainage. There's got to be something in there, for the connoisseur. And from what I've gathered, it's been very vanilla. Very vanilla, especially because we did not see his vanilla. If you don't want your porn to be vanilla, show your vanilla on her face. Yeah, there we go. That's the jingle that's going to be played in all the houses very soon. Just you watch. Ooh, I actually need to crop this one. Can I do that very quickly? Oh my god, I can do that. It's amazing. I can crop in real time here in this program. Because I think this is like I didn't crop this properly, and I don't. It's one of those things, right, where I don't see any doxing details in this thing, but I don't want to risk it. Don't want to risk getting doxed over porn comments because I just took all these screen caps on my phone. You weren't kidding about this being a demonetization special. Can't wait to go back and watch the first 2 hours. Oh, you're in for a treat there. A couple of things snuck in that might be doubly demonetizable. Gonna have to put in the old pixelation thing for the VOD, I think. So we go back to this. So from a return to Iron Dick 62, how can you not vote for the guy who gets them? Oh, I already read that one. Okay. But under him is MoFear85 with, I'm not sure what he means with, I stand with the little guy. I can think of a few things. And then from Dr. Nigma, Dr. Nigma, vote Nadler. So I guess that's his last name, Nadler. I don't know. I would. Well, you know, there's another vote for you right there. You know, you've gained another vote, all from this video. It's great. And then Chosen Gene. That sounds Nazi-ish, which I guess is going to lead into our next thing at some point. Gru got his nut off. What does he have to give to the? Oh no, it cuts off. Can't cut off. What was he going to say? I gotta know. I gotta uncrop it. Oh no, it's too late. I can't undo the crop. I can't undo it. What is done cannot be undone. I'm gonna just cry. We'll never know what he's gonna have to give to and whom. I am in a moment of mourning at the moment. I guess you're gonna have to just go to that comment section and find out for yourself. Big feels. And now we're finished. You know, we've done the money shot, and it left us a little bit limp. And I guess that's something me and this video have in common. But anyway, before we get to our next topic, I'm gonna quickly take a piss. So you guys enjoy, you know, again, I need you to keep an eye on this guy. You know, if he wakes up, oh man. Or I don't want people chipping off bits of him. That could be bad. And I'm back. I hope you could hear my pee from my unmuted microphone. Because that is I think that's the cherry on top for this. That should all be on the same layer. Yeah, I don't think I move. Might be an illusion, optically. I don't know. All I know is that we are moving on to our next subject. And, yeah, this, oh, no. Oh, the celestial. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. I didn't know it, Blunk. Uh-oh. Well, alas, I don't know what we can do about that, but what I do know is I've got something to show you guys. Just doing a little stretchy poo before we get into the next one, because oh boy, I don't want to be caught unawares for this one. So, some of you might be in the know about this next one. Some of you may not. We are going back to the land of the shitting sun. Good old Twitter. And, you know, I was on Twitter the other day, that website that I just described as the land of the shitting sun. I was there, minding my own business, just scrolling away, wasting time, really procrastinating, when all of a sudden I stumble upon, this tweet. And Suave-Man, you are no longer required. Your services are at an end. So I stumbled upon this. And, you know, this is not too bad. It's just like, so Geek Culture Explained went, thinking about how if the MCU didn't kill off Killmonger and Black Panther, we could have had a really compelling arc being called to lead Wakanda after T'Challa's passing, to of which this man very, very wisely points out, I beg y'all to rewatch the movie. And it's like, yeah, and I think, you know, good point. T'Challa was a genocidal, you know, maniac who was not above infanticide as far, you know, as far as his stated intentions were concerned. You know, he wanted to kill children for the crime of being white. So yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind that perhaps this person wasn't the best person to take over for good old T'Challa. I think they should have just recast, personally, but if you have to have someone take over, it probably should not be Killmonger. But you know, this alone, right? This would not constitute anything, really, in isolation. I would not be highlighting this if this was the only thing. So that means, scarily, there's stuff after this. So, let's, keep going. So then we got this reply down here, which is just, I think the coded text here is Michael B. Jordan would have played a good leading man in the MCU. But the first movie was about how Killmonger would make an awful warmongering king, in contrast to T'Challa, and that's the thing. And that's a good comment again. Like, he's trying to be as good faith as possible with the original poster, while still acknowledging that Killmonger was just a horrible, horrendous human being, and to the point where it's arguable that it might compromise the film's writing, because I think they are trying to make him a little bit more. I think he's meant to be more sympathetic than he actually is. But you know, that's I'll leave others to debate such things, because this is not what we're here to talk about. I think we all know that Killmonger is a terrible, horrible person, who not really has much, doesn't really have much in terms of redeeming value to him. So where do we go from here? Like, because this is still not worthy of like a whole section on this. Like, this is kind of interesting to explore in its own way, but it's not quite worth my time or your time in isolation. So what happened after this? Did we end? Is this just going to be a little diversion because I'm trying to buy for time? Oh no. This is the thing that I spent hours last night getting all the notes and all the images together just so we could have some fun. Because, unfortunately, but maybe fortunately for our purposes, this was the reply. His values are what people need right now. He was not wrong. Ah! Okay. Do I need to say what's wrong here? Do I need to point out? Maybe I should, because I feel like some things, although I feel like they should be obvious, sometimes slip under the radar, and that's okay. So again, Killmonger wanted to start a race war using Wakanda's technology. He wanted blood for things that happened hundreds of years ago. And he wanted to kill children for the crime of being white. And his values are apparently what people need right now. Uh-oh. Oh dear. Hail Bitler then. Yeah, Hail Bitler. So, I was naturally, oh god. So I was naturally a little bit perturbed by this. So I ended up quote tweeting him with this little tiny bit of snark. And this isn't even snark. This is me just saying plainly what this man is saying without commentary. And I trust my audience to pick up why this is a bad thing. So we got, so I quote tweeted him right there. And fucking hell. All of this is coming back to me. I then, just out of sheer curiosity, just sheer fascination with this man, I did a little bit of digging in the replies to the initial tweet to see if he was replying to other people. And I also looked in the quote tweets of the original tweet. And this is what I found. He's not a villain, though. He's what the world needs. Europeans need a taste of their own medicine. Oh. 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 So I posted a reply to my original tweet with this screenshot, and then I put another image next to it, which I felt was the only thing I could reply to this statement with. Oh. Yeah, but let's just drink that in. Let's just drink. Europeans need a taste of their own medicine. He is not the villain. Oh my. Oh goodness gracious me. Oh my good God. So, I'd like to say that this is where this saga, began and ended, but unfortunately, the nature of quote tweets means that they can see you just as well as you can see them. And also that you can respond in kind. Europeans practice slavery and colonization. When they know they are in danger, they made laws to protect them from being colonized. That's BLS. I don't know what BLS stands for. Maybe he was trying to say BS and fucked up. He seems to have an issue with with how to place his commas. So maybe he just has a little issue with typing. So that's not good. Kind of doubling down a little bit there. Not a great look. Giga Galaxy Brain confirmed. Exactly. How do they say this unironically? And I want to point out, and I'm going to emphasize this again later, but I tried to find evidence that this guy was a troll. I really tried. But I looked on his profile, and I found a lot of posts that were consistent with this ideology here. And I also found a lot of just other content of him just talking about football and him talking about his fandom of shows like She-Hulk. So he's a really big She-Hulk fan. I think this guy might be serious, and I'm scared for that fact. So let's just say that a few people took issue with this man. So we got your local edgelord. So did Native Americans, Arabs, Persians, Indians, Southeast Asians, Chinese, Mongolians, and every fucking culture. Which is to say, slavery, right? It's kind of just that one of those dickish things that most cultures engaged in at one point, because as sad as it is to say, it's kind of part of growing up as a culture, is learning the value of not only human life, but human freedom, learning that there are no people, learning that it's not morally okay to subjugate other people is a very big lesson that cultures tend to need to learn. And then SAAFP, I don't know what that acronym stands for, but he or she replied with, sure, because of bad ancestors, innocent people nowadays deserve bad things. Makes perfect sense. And then Maurice, good old Maurice, replied, innocent. I guess people in Europe and US don't benefit from what their ancestors did. Slavery ended decades ago, but equality still doesn't work. Oh my god. Oh no, Maurice, don't Maurice, don't try it. And of course, SAAFP replied with, what you just said is not refuting that I am innocent. And which is true. It's interesting that the arguments do seem to still reinforce that it's the ancestors in the wrong, but that modern day people need to be punished. That's not good. That's not good. And then we have the Great Argoblog, or is it the Great Argoblog? Whatever this person is, they went. Africans were killing and enslaving their own people long before Europeans got involved, which is true. Slavery is, again, it's a very universal thing. I think the Europeans are just like the most classic example because of the reverberations. But again, it's something we've all done. Not individually, but culturally. To which Maurice replies with, what's your point? Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh god. Oh no. So his self-awareness is interesting. Stunning, some might say. So again, I wish I could tell you that this is where it ended, that we got a few isolated replies, but then nothing really came of it. But then we had good old a man called one Zeus Kyurem decided to jump into the fray, and is it Zeus Kyurem? Zeus Kyurem. There we go. Zeus is actually the proper pronunciation of Zeus, in case you think I'm memeing there, but I knew one person who got shitty anytime I called him Zeus, so I kind of just instinctively say Zeus at this point. Same as Heracles, that's instead of Hercules. But anyway, Dr. Zeus. Dr. Zeus. Ooh, Dr. Zeus. Kyurem. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so he offered this pretty measured reply, which is, do you know who sold slaves to the Europeans? Additionally, yes, slavery and colonization are wrong. But these are the acts of the past. My ethnic roots are from a country who was colonized and a country that colonized. I was neither a victim nor a perpetrator. The people alive today are not responsible. Very, very good. Very, very good from good old man Zeus there. And Mr. Neo 2261, he also jumped in to back up our boy Zeus with Congo's history, to of which Maurice replies with, what about it? Which is, yeah, a bit yikesy. Again, a little bit, uh-oh. A little bit uh-oh there, just a tiny bit uh-oh. And, we're, again, this does not end here. This does not end here. But you see, Mr. Maurice, he He had a reply for Zeus as well. So just remembering that this was Mr. Zeus's very, very measured reply, trying to point out the batshit craziness of his statements. And then this is what Maurice had in response. Yeah, so, interesting. Very interesting tactic. Yeah, very confusing to be sure, but an interesting tactic nonetheless. That certainly is his profile picture. That certainly is his profile picture. So, is there a larger point being made here? Well, I guess we'll find out. What's your point? Palpatine got power and decided to kill people who would fight for justice and their descendants. He started enslaving the galaxy and colonizing planets. Enough said. He died rich with his empire while victims and their descendants had to start from zero. Yeah, and Palpatine is the bad guy. I don't go pretending he was right. I just like the character, and not because I think he was right. How is he different from real-life colonizers and slave traders? Because he's fictional, and it's just a profile picture. You're the one saying that there should be a race war. I'm not advocating for a galactic empire. Oh my. Oh my. So, not the greatest look. He's conflating using a supervillain as your PFP for fun with literally worshipping the values of a genocidal maniac. Look, I know you just want to see how this plays out, so let's go. Let's fucking go. I'm advocating for revenge. It's 2020, and white people still see people of color as aliens and are against equality. People don't want to apologize for crimes they benefit from. We still have European royals wearing diamonds they stole and artifacts in museums. Where's justice? Oh my god. Oh, this person seems a bit confused. He seems to still think that the people who committed those horrendous acts hundreds of years ago are still alive? Are still punishable, at the very least? Okay then. Zeus continues to retort. Revenge against dead people, white people in this case, is the small minority of people who are racist. Additionally, I think it's fair to criticize and advocate for things to be returned, but it's not the average person that's at fault. They absolutely shouldn't be murdered or enslaved because of it. Again, just very spicy takes from Zeus there. He's against murder and enslavement. I think it's a bit controversial. So at this point in the conversation, things begin to splinter a bit. Because anyone can reply at any time to any tweet, people started replying at different intervals. So I'm going to try and cover these replies as they come in. I'm going to try and keep this as coherent as possible. So just note that we might be jumping around a little bit. So this was the first reply to Maurice's revenge tweet. So this is the first reply that wasn't Zeus's. And from Mr. lowercase d, uppercase d, or dat lowercase d, uppercase d, does art. Maybe it's meant to be pronounced DD, but because there are two cases there, I feel the need to emphasize them. Maybe it's the D. The point is, they went, "Good luck, terrorist, waves." And then he went, "I'm not a terrorist. Hitler is a terrorist. Bin Laden is a terrorist. Queen Elizabeth and her beneficiaries of slavery and colonialism are not. I guess people of color don't know terror." Oh man, I don't know even where to begin with that one. I laughed out loud when I first read it. I lolled really fucking hard because I think the first reply I got to these was, "Oh god, we found a new Hitler." And I agree. This guy is shaping up. Hopefully he doesn't get any real power, because he is concerning me a lot. He is concerning me a whole lot. Oh my god, sex bots, be gone. Be gone, bots. Be gone. Yeah, none of my mods are out today. I've got to create some new mods from trusted users, just to make sure that I have mods at all hours from all people. Yeah, James, where are you? He really can't see the problem with that. So he's directly comparing himself to Hitler, while also trying to imply that he's not like Hitler, and that he's not like... His thing there seems to be that... I don't even know. Like, is it that... It seems to be that you can only be a terrorist if people can feel terror. But the thing is, Hitler was inspiring terror in people of color, so... Is he... I am very deeply confused. Very, very deeply confused. Mr. Neo, 2266. He also, he had a little reply of his own. What the fuck is wrong with you? The world I'm born in is what's wrong. What a lazy excuse for being a cunt. Sure, complaining about inequality is being a cunt. You're suggesting getting back at another race. It's batshit insane and unironically racist. That's what makes you a cunt. Your complaint about the world being wrong is too broad to be worth anything. And he's right, of course. You know, nothing but straight truth there. Don't really need to commentate on that one much more. Just, yeah, it's what it says on the tin. So just so we remember, this is what Maurice is replying to next. Europeans are rich because of crimes their ancestors did. The countries they stole for still suffer. Justice should be giving people what's theirs and apologize. That's fair for everyone. Europe won't apologize because paying would collapse their economies. Yes. Well, for one, it's hard to determine what exactly should be paid, especially since countries have been doing the same for all of history. And it's not accurate to say that it's the only reason they're rich, since we were wealthy beforehand, and this was what gave them the advantage in the first place. Yeah, like, it does get quite complex. It does get very, very quite complex when you start factoring in, you know, this standard on a universal scale. Because every culture is stolen from every other culture, and things have been moved around, and there's just no way of keeping track of all of this stuff. There really isn't. So yeah, very reasonable reply from Zeus. And, you know, he's displayed just absolutely saintly patience with this man. It really cannot be underemphasized just how he's not lost his temper yet. Which, you know, I don't know if I would have maintained my composure as long, which is why I wasn't getting involved with the conversation, because back and forth on Twitter are cancerous to begin with. But Zeus decided to take the plunge, and we love him for it. And then this was how Maurice decided to clap back with this absolute banger of a retort. It's not hard. Give back what you stole and pay for lives you took, plus for slavery, labor, and deaths. And god damn it. Two of which this handsome gentleman decided to have his stay, unhardening the heart of the beast. Yes, Zeus, give it back. That's funny. I'll give you that. Just there's one of those moments where you see the achievement unlocked sign in real life. For this next part, I had something of a dilemma when documenting it, because Zeus gave a two-part reply, and Maurice replied to both of them. So they broke off into separate threads that kind of went concurrently to each other. I've decided that one of these has a more definitive endpoint than the other, so I'll be saving that until the last. So let's read out the whole response, just for context first. So how are we going to calculate this? And what of the people who sold others into slavery? And what of the countries that still practice slavery, and countries that pushed for the abolition of slavery? Weirdly, that was the colonizers that abolished slavery. And as for deaths, which deaths? If it was in those wars, then we're going to go back a long way. Those in other situations outside of war, I think, is fair, but I'm not sure how you'd calculate that or properly attribute that. I do think in regard to material possessions, that is fair to get them back, at least. So again, very measured reply, trying to, be as absolute good faith with this insanity as possible. So let's see just how they respond. So, this is a reply to the first part of that tweet, which is, how do you calculate it? And he goes, "You reset the world economy and give each country equal money. Whatever happens next is none of your business." It's it's as simple as that, eh? Why didn't we think of that? Just reset the world economy and give everyone equal money. Modern problems require modern solutions. So Zeus replies to that in the only way that one can to such stunning logic. What? Oh no. Oh no. Because what else can you say to that? What else can you say to that? Oh. You reset the world economy and give everyone equal money. What? Oh, shouldn't even have included the question mark. Just what? Yeah. Just push the rest button. Oh, David Tennant intensifies. Oh, Lord. Freedom of speech was a mistake. Oh, you need to step up, Senator. Oh, God in heaven. We actually have another splinter. We actually have another splinter from the economy tweet as well. So we'll double back after we get through Zeus's. We'll get Zeus's side of this out of the way, and then we'll go back to another reply to the economy tweet. Because, a few people had things to say about that, so. Each country gets equal wealth. It's a fair reset for that, unless we can reverse time. Each country or each person, and how are we defining wealth? Currency is mostly virtual, using the same currency worldwide and resetting debts and wealths to zero, then giving each country equal currency as a start, and letting every country grow on their own without interference. And then lowercase d, uppercase D goes, and this won't ensure famine and war because, to which Maurice replies with, it will, because equality is not what people would want to see. Oh, God. Oh my God. Man. Lordy. Each country gets equal wealth. At this point, do I really need to give you my input on this? Like, the madness here, it kind of speaks for itself, really. So, Zeus's response to this one was, if it's just the currencies, then I think you've screwed over the central banks of the world and significantly improved the debt situation everywhere, including the West. As for how countries would grow, I can't imagine much would change. Capitalism was made by the West. They can figure it out. Or time travel. So, they can figure it out, which is bad enough. Or time travel. Again, this guy is not a troll. This guy is not a troll, as far as I can see. Everything in his profile points towards him being legit, if insane. I just want everyone to keep this in mind. So we either reset the economy, or we invent time travel to fix the sins of the colonizing West. Otherwise, genocide. My. Oh my. Doubling back around, we go to the other response to the economy tweet, so the one where he said to reset the economy in the first place. Other people had replies, so from Yasus or Yafivus, however that's pronounced. I'm going to go with Yafivus because it's funnier. There's only one flaw in your plan. The Pareto distribution would ensure that some countries get ahead of others due to better resource management. There goes your equality after a few decades. Which, yeah, fair point. Very valid point indeed. Not all wealth is digital, and the distribution of non-digital wealth means the imbalance will only be redistributed rather than truly solved. Moving the problem rather than solving it. I wonder if this will give him pause for thought. I wonder, wouldn't that be okay? At least they didn't use slavery to get richer. Why? Oh. Alright, silly me. Yafivus then goes on to say, you wouldn't have changed anything since the technological developments since then would still be in place. Quote-unquote evil Western countries would just get back to the top, while less developed countries would be even worse off. Great plan. Forgot to mention everyone goes back to the country they came from. Let's see Native Americans shine in their own country for once. What happens to people from interracial/inter-country relationships then? At this rate, you might as well just say, I'll use the Infinity Stones to magic away all economic problems. Would be a better and more realistic plan, too. And then Zeus jumps in with, also, what about people who like the country they moved to? Which, absolutely valid point. Completely fair. Because the people might just, I don't know, they might like where they are. They might not be these first-generation slaves, funnily enough. They might have a history there. They might have a family there. They might be prospering there. A lot of questions to consider with this proposal. This very, very, very troubling proposal. So we have another splinter here. This is making things even worse. So we have another splinter within this splinter of a splinter. And we let's just remember we haven't gotten to the second thread yet, the second whole thread to that initial reply. We're just splintering off from this first thread still. So he says, forgot to mention everyone goes back to the country they came from, which we already read, to which Zeus replies, so how does that work for mixed-race people, or people who have had their ties in their country for centuries, or immigrants? The idea of going back to where you came from is nonsensical. Something tells me that going back to where I came from would mean going to England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, Scandinavia, Italy, Greece, Germany, France, and Sri Lanka. Presumably all at once. Which, yeah. Like, how the fuck do you determine where you go back to? And there are more splinters after this. But thankfully, I'm only going to be following his replies, so we're not going to read all the splinters here. So we're just going to go to the next most relevant one. So I think this is his final reply in this thread before we jump back in time to the next one. So he goes, mixed-race people can pick, I guess. It's not like I have a manifesto in my house. Could have fooled me, mate. I just hope you watch Andor to see perspectives of oppressed people versus oppressors. It's close to the truth. I haven't watched Andor, so I can't really speak to that, but wowie wow. Wowie wow. Extra down. Using Andor seriously. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I love this. The one weakness of Maurice, acolyte of Killmonger, is mixed-raced people. That is when he finally stumbles. It's great. It's like his kryptonite. Let's roll back the rock to the dawn of time, and then roll it forward a bit until we get to the first split again, when all of this madness continued to spiral out of control. Because we've only covered one side of this conversation, in the sense that there were literally two conversations going. So, let's roll back the rock to the dawn of time, and then roll back the forward to the first split here, and sing this song with me. Now, just a reminder. This is what was said. So how are we going to calculate this? And what of the people who sold others into slavery? And what of countries that still practice slavery and countries that pushed for the abolition of slavery? Weirdly, that was the colonizers that abolished slavery. And as for the deaths, which deaths? If it was for those in war, then we're going back a long way. Those in other situations outside of war, I think is fair. But I'm not sure how you'd calculate that, or how to properly attribute that. I do think in regards to material possessions, that is fair to get them back. So we've been seeing the replies to this first part here, and now we get to see his replies to the second. Oh boy, Maurice. Oh boy. How will our boy Maurice reply? See why revenge solves it better. Oh no. Oh, nuts. This isn't good. This isn't good. We're off to a great start. We really are. We really... Okay. Okay. Revenge against who? Everyone who you want revenge against is dead. They have descendants. Why not make them feel what slavery feels like? I bet racism would end after that. People would actually stop hating you because of your color. Ah, so we're going for sins of the father. Well, let's find out what your ancestors have done first. Yes, if they did wrong, they should pay too. Justice for all. In fact, it would be everyone. That's what would fix the world. We'd get an actual freedom, not what the West wants. No, everyone would be dead, because everyone took revenge on everyone for something their ancestors did. No humans, no problem for Earth. Oh my goodness gracious me. No humans, no problem for Earth.
Amazing. A booby trap that actually catches boobies.
What do you even say to something like that? What do you even say? He's legit a supervillain at this point. I'm just gonna say it. He's worse than Movie Bob. We did it, gang. We did it. This is the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania of the EFAP cinematic universe. We are introducing our new big bad here in this tiny spin-off series that also happens to intersect significantly with the main players. We did it. We did it, gang. So, we got anything else? We got anything else here? Or are we done? Or are we done here? We do have a tiny bit more. Just the tiniest bit. The epilogue, if you will. So, here we go. No humans, no problem for Earth. True! How about you start with yourself? Mission wouldn't be accomplished, would it? No, but your brave sacrifice will inspire your fellow genocide enthusiasts. Well done. Well done. Full circle, my friends. Full circle. Full motherfucking circle. Lord in heaven, hallowed be thy come. Lead the way, Maurice. Lead the way. So yeah, I'm very curious to see how you guys replied to the madness that was Maurice. Very, very curious. Who hurt you, Maurice? Who? Very good question. Very, very good question. Does something good. Huh. That's weird. So does Maurice have Congo relatives? That's a good question. I hope my ancestors beat a lot of women. I love the dramatic reading. Oh, thank you, thank you. No, you're supposed to treat me like trash. Baka! Maurice is definitely a Blatzy. Hail Bittler. Hail Bittler indeed. I call him Hitler too, but Bittler also works. Or maybe Blittler? Yeah, Blittler. There's a few ways to go. You know, Captain Planet was right. The only solution to our problems truly is moving to another planet. My common reply to this kind of sentiment is usually that they shouldn't start with them. Is usually that they should start with themselves. Yeah, it kind of highlights the problem, doesn't it? Movie Bob 2.0? Quite possibly. Definitely 2.0s of a lot of different people. Maurice is aspiring supervillain with none of the means or reach. True. He needs to actually have the means, right? God damn. True, Cthulhu. Very true. I don't always advocate for human extinction, but when I do... Movie Bob with no movie. But is he fat? Well, I think he might be lean. So this is... You know how you had, with The Simpsons, they killed off Fat Tony, and then they replaced him with Fit Tony, who then put on a bunch of weight to become Fat Tony again, and then they were almost indistinguishable from each other. This might be that situation where they've dethroned Movie Bob, so this is like Fit Movie Bob, but then he's going to become regular Movie Bob again. You know, that might be the arc we're going on. Yeah, Fringy would be proud. Oh yes, that is a deep cut reference in it, because when you start pulling references from like anything past season, I'm gonna be generous and say season 12, like you start getting into like, those are like the really deep cut ones, where like not a lot of people have watched them. Like you've got your baseline there, and then you've got a lot of the ones that came after. Holy hell. Holy hell. Let's see what I can dig up. Africans and African Americans don't often see eye to eye. Yeah, that's the thing. They've become distinct in their cultures, haven't they? So returning them back to the same geological location probably wouldn't work. You know, I'm definitely more of a Futurama guy myself, but I love both Simpsons and Futurama. But you know, the Futurama is like, it touches me in good ways. So yeah, so we're gonna finish off with what I'm trying to do at the end of every stream now, which is we're gonna get up alphabet aerobics again. And yeah, we're going to just see how we're doing. We're going to do a quick rehearsal. We're going to do a quick... See if I can get through it a little bit more coherently this time. I don't think so, because Man, it was exhausting reading those Maurice tweets. But, you know, this is going to be peaks and valleys with alphabet insanity. Peaks and valleys. So let's get it up. Let's get up the lyrics so that we can... The viewers at home can read along with us. Where did I put it? Where did I put the lyrics? Crumblin' Cron with my Cal cronies. Yeah, that's the one I kept stumbling on. And I still don't have it memorized, because I always stop halfway through C. So let's get it up. See how we do. So we've got... Oh my goodness me, this is... I need to get a higher resolution version of this image. One sec. That's not readable. So this has been a nice chill stream today, I think. I haven't overloaded myself with stuff to do, which I think is good. I think it's very, very good to not overload oneself. Oh, by the way, before I begin, how's the music been? I've been doing some fiddling so that the music gets quieter when I'm speaking, and then it goes back up when I'm not speaking. So how does all the sound balancing sound on your guys' end, by the way? Sounds good so far? Cool. Seems to have worked. Okay, cool, because yeah, because what I've been trying to do is because I want... You know, the purpose of the music there is to be a nice ambience, but I don't want it to overload. So I've set it so that it automatically gets quieter the louder I get. Not intrusive in the gaps either. Good. So is the stream ending? Well, it's gonna... it'll depend on how long I want to stick with Alphabet Insanity. Just because I only have enough material for a short stream today. Because, to be fair, I've been streaming for about 3 hours at this point. So, yeah. Ooh, Cthulhu. A little super chat there. Another great stream for the repository. Here's a $5 to ease the string of inevitable demonetization. Ah, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. So this is about as good as I'm getting. You can also look up the lyrics. It's called Alphabet Insanity on your own. if you want to. And good times will be had by all, I think. I'm going to now turn off the music. Just allow the fire sounds to be our ambience. I'm going to go through it slowly first so that I just get a feel for it again. So I adamantly attack the alphabet with an anecdotal algorithm made of adamantium. I'm like an Adderall addicted anaconda or an alcoholic or an asshole like A-Rod, no anabolics. But I brutally and beautifully butcher the bang and beam, brush and bubbly all over your booby and booty beak because I'm a carpenter. I come carving your carpet, leaving all these carp fish crushed on the carpet. Crumble and cron in Colorado with my cow cronies. I'm cramming it full of condiments like it's a calzone. Delicious, I don't drive and drink, whether diamonds or dimes, man, I'm diving deep like an electric eel. I'm elegantly eloquent in every cent I've ever earned. Just entered in the election. I've got 11 brains like an enormously educated Einstein with elephantitis of the erection. A freak, I fight like I'm fighting like a flat-footed felon. 5 falcons just flew to a falcon and fell in. Googling googly-eyed girls to get inside. Golly G from Glasgow to Guatemala. Gentrified. A hippopotamus is high on heroin. He heckles me and hires Haitian Hank to hand his hoe a hysterectomy. In hateful hieroglyph, I hurl out hyperbolic hubris and hang with hipster Helen, the hooker with the huge hips. I'm ill. I'm Icarus. I ignite idiots in idioms, in issues, jumpy jargon. I joust like Jokerate Jive and Japanese judo and jiu-jitsu, killing them like a kid got a kilogram of ketamine for Kwanzaa. I'm knitting a kimono made out of Komodo dragon skin. I'm rich like a Klingon that be kicking it at the Kremlin, but I kicking it through your door. Call me Kramer Kardashian. Lethal, literally litter a little limerick that be littler than a leprechaun, a menace that manifest the melancholy mayhem, making a metamorphosis that mechanized like Megatron. Nick Nolte, a nerdy native of Nebraska, needs a neon ninja and a nectarine from NASA. Ominously, I mean, it's obvious you see an orthodontist oozing out oodles of onomatopoeia. Oswald Patton pick a pocket puckin' a patent. I pickle purple poop in patron for pure passion. I got a quiz ya. Let's step on the gas and go quicker. Really getting ready for the revolution. Reeled a rotten rhyme. Ring around a Russian Ronda Rousey resort. Serve a simple sentiment. A simile that's smoking like a sheet of sedated. Oh, is that of Sudafed? Of Sudafed. That is the lyric. Of Sudafed. My brain just broke. Of Sudafed. I'm swiftly swimming like a seahorse. Titties on a teller that'll toe tag Terminator gun inside a turtle tattered tote bag. Thugs are un-American, unattractive, and unwanted as an ugly pair of Uggs, vivid and vivaciously venomous, with the wicked wombats only walking where women is, getting xenophobic at the Xanadu, XOXO, yippee-ki-yay, yours truly, Mac, yes, yo. Oh shit, I forgot zebra. Okay, so, the difference between that and last time is I actually got through the whole thing just reading it. And I think I got through the first little bit a bit better than last time. The bits I was focusing on last time, they're a little bit more in my brain, which is good, which means we are improving, which means we can demonstrate this growth. Because the thing is, right, this is going to be very, very unremarkable. Ooh, super chat from Jose, yeah! Fork you, Susan. The meme shall have his mons. Very good, very good. I appreciate your support. I have once again gathered for your monetary support. Or was it, I once again come to you for your monetary support. What was the Bernie quote? I don't know. Damn, that's a mouthful. Yeah, I got through calzone that time. That was, that means that, you know, there is improvement to be had. There is improvement to be had, for sure. It's just practice, right? Practice makes perfect, and it's gonna be great. I'm making cookies, Oobly. It's up to you to oppress the chat. Oh, what kind of cookies? I like chocolate chip or triple choc chip, where it's like a chocolate cookie with chocolate chips and also white chocolate in there as well. Like, you know, you got 3 kinds of chocolate, like fighting it out, And what I like to do with cookies, right, is well, first, I don't use chocolate chips. I use I chop up chocolate so that there's kind of a heterogeneity in there, which is just really lovely. So sometimes it's more cookie than melted chocolate, and sometimes it's just this big glob of melted chocolate. It's all very, very nice. Very, very nice. Meme, have you seen Helen and Taylor's updates? I have. I'm still processing them because I don't want to like jump to because there's a lot to break down, because this situation seems like it's very complex, and there seems to be some misinformation going around, and I wouldn't want to misrepresent it, and I wouldn't want to jump to conclusions either. I want to just continue to reflect on that one, but I did read it. There are some things to reflect on, both in what she left out, but also what she left in and why she left them out. What are the explanations? The different explanations one could come up with. There's so much to break down there, but yeah, definitely a lot to talk about there. Definitely more than I can break down at the moment. So yeah, I don't want to break it down on stream right now, only to say that there's a lot to talk about with that thread, is what I want to say with that. Let's try to go through this again. I adamantly attack the alphabet with an anecdotal algorithm made of adamantium, like an androl anaconda, or an alcoholic, or an asshole like A-Rod, no anabolics, but I brutally and beautifully butcher the bang and bee, brushing bubbly all over your booby and booty beak, because I'm a carpenter. I come carving your carcass, leaving all these carfish crushed on the carpet, crumbling crawn in Colorado with my cow cronies. Okay, so that part's still not perfect, but I can get through it. Crumble and crawn in Colorado with my cow cronies. I'm cramming it full of condiments like it's a calzone. Delicious. I didn't drive and drink with a diamonds, a diamond man, a diamond eat, and electric eel. I'm elegantly eloquent in every cent I've ever earned. Just entered in the election. I got 11 brains like an enormously educated Einstein with elephantitis of the erection. A freak. I'm fighting like a flat-footed felon. 5 falcons just flew to a fountain felon. Googly-eyed girls to get inside. Golly gee, with glass gal to Guatemala gentrified. A hippopotamus is high on heroin, heckles me, and hires a Haitian Hank, to hand his hoe a hysterectomy in hateful... Okay, I think I should just go over those first few parts. So, let's go over crumbling cron in Colorado with my cow cronies. I'm cramming it full of condiments like it's a calzone. Delicious. I didn't drive and drink. Where the diamonds are diamonds, man, I'm diving deep like an electric eel. I'm eloquently eloquent in every cent I ever earned. Just entered in the election. I got 11 brains like an enormously educated Einstein with elephantitis of the erection. A freak. I'm fighting like a flat-footed felon. 5 falcons just flew to a falcon and felon. Googly-eyed girl to get inside. Golly gee, from Glasgow to Guatemala gentrified. A hippopotamus is high on heroin heckles me and hires Haitian Hank to hand his hoe a hysterectomy. Okay, so we'll take a break there. Let's see what you're up to, chat. I bake cookies better than any woman. You know, I could believe it. Thing with cookies as well. This is my baking method. Because obviously there's the preparation, there's the mixing them, but then there's the actual putting them in the oven. And the thing for me, and this is my preference, and maybe you guys have a different preference, but for me, I like to keep them in the oven for as short a time as I can get away with, because I like my cookies to be all like soft, like almost like a brownie consistency, where it's very, very, very soft cookie, just just cooked enough to hold its structure. But I like it to like melt in the mouth rather than being a hard crunch. But maybe you guys like harder cookies? I don't know. Yeah, I like them thick and gooey. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. My GF also likes cookies a bit underbaked. Yeah, it is interesting that's kind of an interesting first date question, right? Like, how do you like your cookies? I guess that's something I got to remember. Something I'm really bad at with first dates is thinking of interesting questions to ask and not having it, creating like a casual atmosphere where it's a good back and forth. That's a very difficult thing on a first date. Not impossible, for sure, but definitely, definitely something to think about. Definitely something to... I almost wish I could just bring along a bunch of notes and reminders to a date without it looking like a weird thing, but, well, you just got to kind of remember it, which easier said than done with the ADHD, but, I think I just got to write out a bunch of first date questions and hope that I just kind of absorb them. I don't even remember my last first date. Well, that would probably be with your girlfriend, right? Unless you were dating like unless you were like seeing multiple people and then eventually like she became the winner. I guess that could be a possibility. Unless you guys never had like a proper first date and you were kind of just friends that decided to become more. I don't know. I don't know your background. Meme, if you get yourself on a neurodivergent specific dating app, bringing notes wouldn't be unusual. That's true, but are there any neurodivergent specific dating apps? And if so, how popular would they be? Because where I live, like I'm not in one of the really big cities where like you would have a really good sample size for the obscure dating apps. I got to say, I'm perplexed. I prefer my wife's white choco chip pancakes. Cool. White chocolate chip pancakes. That sounds good. Cookies versus pancakes. Ooh, good question. Ooh. It really depends on the cookie, really depends on the pancake. I would say cookies have a convenience factor going for them, but there's just something wholesome about a stack of pancakes. I definitely crave cookies more than pancakes because every time I have pancakes, I never want pancakes again because I overstuff myself with it. But that's not really a pancake thing, that's a me thing. So I don't know. Oh, I love me some waffles, I'm not gonna lie. Especially when it's like, you know, it's soft and fluffy in the middle, but nice and crisp on the outside. That's nice. That's good shit. I had a really shitty waffle at Disneyland in Hong Kong that was shaped like Mickey Mouse, though. That was my first experience. And it wasn't a good first impression for waffles, is all I'll say. It was way too doughy. Like, it wasn't nice. It was a very bland waffle. But I had really good waffles later on. It was actually, I think it was in a hotel in Thailand, I'm pretty sure. They had a breakfast buffet and they had waffles there. And I had a bunch of those and I just kept going back for more because they were just, mwah, so good. So good. Especially those little mini waffles you can just load into your mouth like with like a single fork. Just Gonna just I have to take my afternoon dose. Did you know right now there is an Adderall shortage in the United States? So that means a lot of ADHD people aren't able to get their meds, which is very tragic. Jessica McCabe from How Do ADHD is currently off her meds in solidarity for these people, and just today she released a video talking about how to cope without meds, which actually I'm gonna link right now because it might be an interesting thing for people to watch after the stream, so I don't see why not. Here's your viewing for when the stream ends. Here's a little bit of like extra viewing, a little bit of homework for y'all. But if you get a few people together, you could totally get a neurodivergent dating app to work. I think there's definitely a future in neurodivergent dating app. Look, to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think before we specialize, I think we gotta really evolve how the dating app works. This is probably gonna be a topic of a future stream, because I think there are a lot of very fundamental problems with the dating app, and I don't think anyone has really cordoned onto what the real problems are with them. Like I don't even really want to get into it now because I feel like it's better for it to be its own thing on a future stream. But what I'll say is it's stuff like the fact that you can get an unlimited number of matches. And I'm not meaning that, I don't mean that, you know, I know that there are swipe limits, but there are no match limits. And I think that's the thing that kills it in the end. That's my, like, elevator pitch for how to improve dating apps, is to just kill, is just to impose a match limit. Because otherwise, you know, there's no point in getting invested with any of your matches. I think that's a very big one. And I would, again, I want to go into more detail about how I would get that to work in a future stream. But that's my, if you had to hold me down and get me to summarize, okay, if you could change one thing about dating apps, what would it be? It would be like, I would fucking not let you match with an unlimited number of people. I would force you to pick and choose. Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Well, I think the problem extends to hookups and dating, because a lot of people will use that as a hookup app, but they'll keep trying to find the next best thing. And then the same goes for dating. And then very few people are actually hooking up. Very few people are actually going on dates that will go anywhere. It's not very encouraging. It really becomes more of a exercise in vanity than it is actually something that has much utility. And, you know, there's huge problems, you know, with it, like, men and women, for example. There's a huge difference between how matches go with them. Like, because women, they will So here, I'm gonna simulate a woman, getting a dating app. It's just like, oh, okay, he seems nice, and so they just start matching for a little bit. They've just opened their profile. They just start matching for a bit, or they just start swiping for a bit. It's like, oh, he's cute. Nah. Oh, he's cute. And so it goes like that. Like they're being very picky and choosy because statistically that's how women tend to use these apps. So she puts the phone down, right? 5 minutes later, just bombarded with matches. Everyone she swiped with matched. And even people who and then all the potential matches that, you know how it says like you've got X number of matches, keep swiping? That just explodes. So women get bombarded with matches, and it's usually a bunch of guys going, hi, 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 hello, want to see my dick? Hi. So just a bunch of people who don't even know how to really talk to people to begin with. And then you got guys on the other end where because a lot of men are like just talking in broad senses. This is not like a judgment on any one person, but in the broad sense, a lot of men they machine gun swipe. They use the let God sort them out method, where it's just ding 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 ding, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right, swipe right. Oh, is that my cousin? Swipe right, swipe right. Oh, she's kind of fat. Swipe right, swipe right. You know, there is no discrimination with a lot of men and these dating apps. So the women go, they get all of these matches, and men, they barely get anything. And if they do get anything, chances are the woman has about 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 other people on standby. And so it just creates this really toxic dynamic for both sexes with how they engage with these apps. And so if you limit the number of matches, I think that fundamentally changes the dynamic of how people will engage with these apps. Because suddenly you're not going or, oh, I can't get fucking anyone. Instead, it becomes a bit more like everybody has to put effort into their profile. Everyone has to consider each swipe, because each swipe represents a resource that they could potentially be giving away. They need to be 100% happy with the idea of matching with that person. And then when they do match with them, they actually have to engage with them because they're not going to have 40 other people lined up, potentially. So that's just like a very small sampling of how I would do it. I want to go into a bit more detail on the logistics of it, but that's just kind of describing my rationale for it, because I think it's a really big problem. Meme, are you a closet Tasmanian? No? I was actually born about 5 minutes up the street, which is funny because I've traveled a lot when I was a kid, but I'm currently living about 5 minutes away from where I was born here in Canberra. Not going to tell you where, though, because there's like a few hospitals in Canberra. I'm not going to get you to narrow it down. Bilbo, that headcanon died. Stop. Is that my cousin? Party at Meme's birth hospital cancelled. Could you imagine? That would be... Oh, could you imagine? That's actually a really funny birthday idea of just throwing a party at your birth hospital. It's doubly funny if you go into the if you host it in the terminal patients ward. And it's a really good time if you host it in the mental health ward. Yeah, that's an idea. Okay, let's give this another crack. I adamantly attack the alphabet with an anecdotal algorithm made of adamantium, like an Adderall addicted anaconda, or an alcoholic, or an asshole, like A-Rod, no anabolic, but I brutally and beautifully butcher the bang and bee, brushing bubbly all over your booby and booty because I'm a carpenter. I come carving your carpets, leaving all these carfish crushed on the carpet, crumbling cron in Colorado with my cow cronies. I'm cramming it full of condiments like it's a calzone. Delicious, I didn't drive and drink. Whether diamonds or dimes, man, I'm diving deep. Electric eel, I'm elegantly eloquent in every cent I ever earned, and just entered in the election. I got 11 brains like an enormously educated Einstein with elephantitis of the erection. A freak! I'm fighting like a flat-footed felon. 5 falcons just flew in, a falcon and fell in. Googling googly-eyed girls to get inside. Golly gee, from Glasgow, Guatemala, gentrified. A hippopotamus is high on heroin. He heckles me and hires a Haitian Hank to hand his hoe a hysterectomy. In hateful hieroglyph, I hurl out hyperbolic hubris. I hang with hipster Helen, the hooker with the huge hips. I'm ill. I'm Icarus. I ignite idioms. I ignite idiots and idioms and issues, jumpy jargon like joust like jacare jive and Japanese judo and jiu-jitsu. Killing them like a kid. Got a kilogram of ketamine with the Kwanzaa. Okay, so that's. I think I'm making progress. It's a slow race to the finish, but I think we're getting there. I think we are getting there. Meme goes back to the nursery. Could you imagine? You know, I think I was gonna say, oh, maybe I can meet the doctor who delivered me, but I'm pretty sure he killed himself. So, there's that. That was something my mom just randomly told me one day. She's like, oh yeah, I knew the doctor who delivered you. I think he hung himself though, on the top of Mount Ainsley, I think. And I'm just like, oh, that's nice. That's an origin story there. That is some lore about my life. It's spelled A-I-N-S-L-I-E. At what age did you receive that birthday present? I think I might have been 15, 16 when I found out. Maybe younger. If you're gonna hang yourself, I admire doing it atop a mountain. Yeah, you know, it's gotta go to the top of the world before you sink to the bottom, right? Bloody hell, man. Yeah, it's a little bit of a dark origin there. I don't want to meet the doctor from my C-section. Hey, man. Hey, they could be lovely, or they could be hot, or both. I peed on him. Well, good. Maybe he's into that. Maybe now you can do it legally. Might be mad about that, or maybe you inspired him. I don't know. Just couldn't bear having brought this evil purple alien into the world. It's very true. Very, very true. It was a traumatic experience for him, no doubt. My doctor was a captain in the Air Force. Oh, that's really cool. Anyway, I am gonna, do a little stretchy poo. Gonna see if anyone left any super chats via Streamlabs. See if there were any super chats I missed in general. And give you guys your one last opportunity to send any through before the stream ends. And then I'm gonna go off, have a little nappy poo, because I didn't get much sleep last night. Then I gotta prepare. I gotta do a screen test for a potential acting gig. I said I could get it in by the beginning of next week, so that's gonna be my focus. It's just getting all of that together. So yeah, a little bit of a shorter stream this week. That's okay though. Let's see, go to monitors. Okay, so nothing in Streamlabs, which I always like to check first because that's the one that's hidden from my view most of the time. Yep, so already read those two, so that seems to be us caught up for the day, which is great. Are you playing She-Hulk? Oh, I wish. Just make sure it's someone else's leg, not yours. Did you know that the term break a leg does not actually refer to someone's leg, but it refers to what is known as the leg of the stage? So you are, and I think breaking it has a different terminal. I'm gonna look it up, the exact etymological origin of break a leg. Let's see, break a leg. So there's a couple of theories that, okay, let's see. Break a leg is a typical English idiom used in the context of theater or other performing arts to wish a performer good luck. An ironic or non-literal saying of uncertain origin. A dead metaphor. That's another term I never knew about. Dead metaphor, where like a figure of speech loses its original imagery. Oh, I'm gonna use that from now on. Okay. So we've got a couple of theories here. So most common, so there's the Yiddish German pun theory. So most commonly favored as a credible theory by etymologists and other scholars, the term was possibly a loan translation from the similar German phrase Haus und Beinbruch. My German is not the best. Literally neck and leg bone break. Literally neck and leg and then bone in brackets break. Itself a loan translation and pun on a Yiddish phrase, Hatzloch Unbruch. I can barely do the German pronunciations. The Yiddish is going to be completely lost on me. Bruch, which means success and blessing. Okay, so it could be something that went through like several rounds of translation, and then it kind of got distorted along the way. Then there's the superstition theory, which is the urbane Irish nationalist Robert Wilson Lind published an article, A Defense of Superstition, in the 1st of October 1921 edition of the New Statesman, a British liberal political and cultural magazine, regarding the theatre as the second most superstitious institution in England after horse racing. In horse... good God, I have so much phlegm in my throat. In horse racing, Lind asserted to wish a man luck is considered unlucky, so you should say something insulting such as, may you break your leg. Thus, the expression could reflect a now forgotten superstition, perhaps a theatrical superstition, though Lind's 1921 mention is non-theatrical, in which directly wishing a person good luck would be considered bad luck. Therefore, an alternative way of wishing luck was employed. Lind did not attribute the phrase in any way to theater people, but he was familiar with many of them and frequently mingled with actors backstage. Okay, that's interesting. And now there's like the theatrical origins. The aforementioned theory regarding Heinz und Beinbruch, I think it's Beinbruch, Haus und Beinbruch, a German saying via Yiddish origins, suggests that the term transferred from German aviation to German society at large then. And then, as early as the 1920s, into the American or British, then American theater. The English translation of the term is probably explained by German-speaking Jewish immigrants entering the American entertainment industry after the First World War. The alternative theory that the term reflects an ironic superstition would date the term as originating around the same time. The earliest published example in writing specifically within a theater context comes from American writer Edna Ferber's 1939 autobiography, A Peculiar Treasure, in which she writes about the fascination in the theater of all understudies in the back row politely wishing the various principals would break a leg. American playwright Bernard Sobel's 1948 The Theater Handbook and Digest Plays describes theatrical superstitions as before a performance actors never before a performance actors what is this broken English? Before a performance actors never wish each other good luck, but I say I hope you break a leg. There is some anecdotal evidence from theatrical memoirs and personal letters as early as the 1920s. And here's some popular but implausible theories. The performer bowing. The term break a leg may refer to a performer bowing or curtsying to the audience in the metaphorical sense of bending one's leg to do so. Okay, so break a leg, bow before the audience, bow before it to an applauding audience, that kind of thing. The performer breaking the leg line. The edge of a stage just beyond the vantage point of the audience forms a line, imaginary or actually marked, that can be referred to as the leg line. Named after a type of concealing stage curtain, a leg. From an unpaid standby performer to cross or break this line would mean the performer was getting an opportunity to go on stage and be paid. Oh, okay, so it's the line between being visible on stage and being not visible. Therefore, break a leg might have shifted from a specific hope for this outcome to a general hope for any performer's good fortune. Okay. Even less plausible, the saying could originally express the hope that an enthusiastic audience repeatedly calls for further bows or encores. This might cause a performer to repeatedly break the leg line, or alternatively, it might even cause the leg curtains themselves to break from overuse. Oh, okay. Alluding to David Garrick, so this is another theory. During a performance of Shakespeare's Richard III, the famed 18th century British actor David Garrick became so entranced in the performance that he was supposedly unaware of a literal fracture in his leg. Oh, I guess that works too. The audience breaking legs. Various folk theories proposed that Elizabethan or even ancient Greek theatrical audiences either stomped their literal legs or banged chair legs to express their enthusiasm. Okay, yeah. That could also be a thing, sure. Alluding to John Wilkes Booth, oh my. One popular but false etymology derives the phrase from the 1865 assassination of Abraham Lincoln. Oh, this is getting wild. During which John Wilkes Booth, the actor turned assassin, claimed in his diaries that he broke his leg leaping to the stage of Ford's Theater after murdering the president. the fact that actors did not start wishing each other to break a leg until as early as the 1920s, more than 50 years later, makes this an unlikely source. Furthermore, Booth often exaggerated and falsified his diary entries to make them more dramatic. Okay, well, we got some theories there about where the hell this saying came from. Wowee, wow. That's our bonus topic for the day, is the origin of break a leg. Yeah, you just never know where the stream repository is going to go. You just never know. If only Metal were here, he would have similar issues with German. That's funny to think about. Maisie Williams looked like an alien these days. I haven't seen her too recently. I don't know. I'd have to see a photo of what you meant. I mean, were you planning to finish the show and have gone on a 5 to 10 minute escapade on the etymology of break a leg? Yeah. Well, this show is meant to be a reflection of my brain, so I feel like this is a fitting way for the stream to go, because I often get distracted in such ways, and I learn things along the way. It's great. We're working out our love of... We're working. Hit what the... I'm seeing a bunch of out of context messages here that I don't know how to string together. But you do you, man. Pedantry, though. Etymology is a beautiful thing to behold. Pedantry through etymology is a beautiful thing to behold. Exactly. I find etymology fascinating, because I think it started because I like to use words correctly. I like to use words as they are intended to be used, not just how I think they're meant to be used. Accounting for the evolution of language as well. And so, yeah, I just find this kind of pedantry really fascinating. And you learn a lot about history through language as well. Oh, man. Okay, so we're going to end the stream now for realsies this time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, pedantry on an EFAP guest stream? Who would have thunk? Exactly. Nothing wrong with a bit of pedantry. There's a myriad of ways to use words incorrectly. Exactly. And sometimes you can use a word technically incorrectly, but it might be an effective use of that word. Like, there are words like literally that should probably stay strictly to their strictest definition, while, there are other words that I think can be distorted all the time. Like, I get annoyed when people use decimated to mean devastated, but at the same time, the word decimated doesn't have as much utility anymore, so I can understand how it got turned that way, but at the same time, I never use decimated to mean destructive, because I think I'm too aware of the etymological origins of that one. Anyway, meme, tangents! Yeah, I know. There's gonna be 5 hours. No one knows. Anyway, good to see you guys. I'll see you again next week for part 2 of the demonetization special, where things are gonna get really fucking dark. I was hoping to have... Doing this all at once, I was hoping we would have variety, but I guess the next one is gonna be the dark one. It's gonna be the scary one. It's gonna be the kind of freaky one. And it's gonna get me even more demonetized than white chunky cock. Or was it chunky white cock? It's gonna get me more demonetized than... I'm gonna say this now, so I can say it, so I can edit out the stumbles in the edit. It's gonna get me more demonetized than chunky white cock. Goodbye. Spooky, creepy skeleton.